Okay. Whoa. Hello, everyone. Welcome. We got a new look here. Did you miss me? It's been a while since I've been on, but we got a whole new look for the stream. I'm super excited. I'll say this a couple times during the stream, but huge shout out to Bluu for all the work on the assets. Highly recommend their services if you're not familiar. Description down below, you can find contact info. I'm so excited for the new overlay. Oh my goodness, and there's so many fun features to it, you're not even ready. So I worked on that a little bit earlier when I went to pick up my new glasses. Okay, so Raging Loop for today. So we're on Raging Loop part 5. A lot has happened, so I'm gonna try my best to give a little bit of a summary. As with previous Raging Loop games or videos and streams, this is full spoilers. So if you want to avoid spoilers, do yourself a favor and leave now. All my Raging Loop videos are on YouTube. You can go catch up if you want to see through my perspective, or if you want to go play it yourself. I highly recommend it. It's been really, really good so far. Okay, so that's one thing. And if you are looking to avoid the spoilers, I can show my schedule. Here is my schedule for the next, call it week, because it is a week. Schedule for this week. You can see it's very focused. We have Combo Breaker next week, so I am going full steam ahead for Combo Breaker. I want to do well in one game, and you can see what that is. That's going to be Uniclear. So all next week is going to be Uniclear streams. It's going to be Uniclear training. Look out for that. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is when I'm in town. So I'll be playing in Mash Fest on Monday and then going into some matches. Oh, hey Mio. Thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Tuesday, Wednesday will just be more Uniclear training. I have a pool. It's 4 out. It's 4 out in pools at Combo Breaker. So I have a chance to get out of my pool. I mean, it's going to shuffle a little bit, but with 4 out, I mean, I got to losers semifinals in my pool at Frosty Faustings. So I got 5th in my pool at Frosty Faustings, meaning there's a chance I could get 4th in a pool. So I think I have a chance to actually get out of my pool. Ready for some Chaos Carnage? Don't choke. Yeah. You're seeded to get out, I believe. I am. I am actually seeded, which is also, to me is crazy. So I won't let y'all down. I'll do my best. Okay, so this is my schedule for the coming week. Look out for that. I'll be posting this on Twitter as well. But yeah, so Raging Loop. Today we're chilling. Today's a Sunday. I just got back from my vacation visiting my family. No fighting games today. We're just gonna chill. Well, as chill as you can be playing Raging Loop, which reminds me, I gotta go get my heart rate monitor. Hold on. All right, let me wet this thing up again. Hey, Koyo. Good, welcome. We got new assets. I'm so excited. Big shout outs to the artist who worked on these, Bluu. You may have seen him in the WASD Discord. Get out there, go to the life of a Seth main. Yeah, Seth is a tough character to play, huh? Anyways, so let's see. Recap of Raging Loop. I'll do my best here. We're 4 parts in. We're a good 10 hours in. So a lot has happened. So we are playing as protagonist-san, Fusaishi Haruaki-san. He is a lost traveler. The assets look really cool. Thank you. Well, don't thank me. I just paid for them. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff coming with these, so I'm excited. New profile picture. I'm gonna have some social assets as well. I'm really excited. Okay, so Haruaki gets lost in the woods. He's driving to forget his girlfriend, which apparently he had a really bad breakup with. And he drives out into the woods to forget. Oh, hold on. I have to log into the heart rate monitor app. Hold on. I actually have no idea what my login is. Oh, right. It's my Twitch. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Paste that. Submit. Okay. Sorry. So Haruaki goes to the woods to forget about his girlfriend and ends up running into a really weird town where, long story short, they play a game of werewolf, like the Mafia werewolf style game, to once every so often, when the Yomibito, or the damned, come back from the dead, from the Saranaga, which is the like cursed river that is near the town of Yasanaga? That doesn't sound right, but I think that's what it is. And they're by a town called Fujiyoshi, which is also linked to Kami Fujiyoshi, which is kind of the high town. And Fujiyoshi / Yasanaga are the lower areas. Anyways, we meet a girl named Chiemi Serizawa, and she is our guide to how this crazy town works. She keeps us safe. She explains the werewolf game. And then there's a whole bunch of other townsfolk who participate in it. Long story short, the werewolves win on our first run through. That is meant to happen. It's basically unavoidable. And the werewolves kill everybody in the town. We try to run away with Chiemi and this little girl, Meru, I believe her name is. Reimu is her name. And so we try to run away with them. And it turns out you can't escape from crossing fate once you enter the Yasanaga. Meiko? Who is Reimu? Reimu was the priestess then. Turns out you can't escape, so we end up dying. But, as is the loop, Reimu is a Toho character. I think there's also another VTuber named Reimu, and I think that is whom I'm confusing this with. Anyways, we go. We loop back around. That is the gimmick of the game. Every time you die, you loop back around, and we start from scratch with all of our memories. Niji Sanji fan? I am a huge Niji Sanji fan, Aura, dude. I am no crap. Watching Niji Sanji is what got me wanting to do VTubing myself. I am a very big fan of the Luxium and Noctix factions. My taste in VTuber is different than a lot of others, but I guess not too many others. So yeah, big fan. we can talk. Yeah, we can talk other VTubers one of these days. Let's see. So we looped back around and kind of had this revelation that you started with Etheria, where okay. I like them all. They're all super chill. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you are making it to combo. I thought you couldn't make it to combo breaker. That's awesome. I'll see you there. Okay, so we loop back around. It looks like the girlfriend that we were running away to forget was Chiemi. So that might become to be a revelation. And we try to take another approach to the thing, and we end up running into this like overly concerned police officer who tells us, stay far away from here. There's bad news, but we already know that the bad news is the mist coming and yada yada yada. So now, picking up on this one, we're in Kami Fujiyoshi. We are being taken to breakfast / lunch with one of the heads of the families. I cannot remember his name because he's only just been introduced. And I am definitely going to do a different voice for him this time than I did before, so be ready for that. But we're being taken to lunch with him, and we can see some parallels in Kami Fujiyoshi with, yeah, he's the head of, like, the one that controls feeding people. So he's obviously very powerful. So we're in Kami Fujiyoshi. A lot of things here parallel the stuff from the lower city, but where in the lower city, it's like literally like werewolves haunting people. It looks a lot more symbolic up here. So we'll get to see what happens here. I think we're going to get to spend a lot of time in Kami Fujiyoshi. So enough talk. A wise man once said, enough talk. Let's get to the game, which I have yet to boot up because I've been chatting so much. Okay, game. I think it was Okibe, maybe Oribe. I think it might have been Nosato's, like, family. Okay, so let me change the game source to Raging Loop. Let's get some game sound in here. Got my heart rate monitor. Gaming time. It is time. All right. I'm kind of blocking the chat, huh? Wonder if I should shrink a little bit. Yeah, it's probably better. Let's just put me right here. We'll figure it out. It's a work in progress. You know, I want to be as big as possible. Do I have a game? Hello? Mod check. Where is it? Hold on, sorry. Technical difficulties. It's actually way bigger than the window space that I allocated for it. Okay, so Raging Loop probably has to go a little higher. Probably has to go over my overlay. There we go. Let me try to match it exactly. Oh, it's locking. Hold on. Wagging tail? Yeah. Yeah, I'm just so excited to be playing and hanging out and having all this. Hold on. Let me just really quickly. I don't know why it's not letting me just. Why it's like not just letting me make it whatever size I want it. It's like. It's like clipping, or not clipping, but it's like it's on a grid. You know what I mean? So I'm being very meticulous here. And then stretch. Do. That's pretty good, right? That's actually perfect, I think. All right. Okay. All right, let's get it. Whew. God, this game creeps me out as well. All right, loading. Everything look good? Everything sound good? Let's go. Oh. The eatery was split into several buildings around the village. From what Higuchi-san had told me, Fujiyoshi had a population of about 1,000 people. It was pretty small for an autonomous area, but it was still enough to make eating in one building impossible. Feels good? Sounds good? Awesome. We went into one of them. It was crowded, but upon seeing us, the villagers stepped aside as if this was all planned. Apparently, everyone here did what they could to accommodate Higuchi-shi. Also, everyone was staring at me like I was an alien or something, but it felt like Higuchi-shi's presence discouraged them from staring too long. Hello, I'm Bluu. I did assets revamp for Ryer. Had a lot of fun. I'll be making small tweaks and adjustments depending on the feedback. Just checking in to say hi. Thank you so much, Bluu. Big shout outs to Bluu. Very cool. Like, of the many artists I've worked with in the past, they've been very receptive to criticism, very responsive, and really churned this out in an astounding amount of time. So definitely highly recommend. Contact information in my description if you're interested. Yeah. Also, everyone was staring at me like I was an alien or something, but it felt like Higuchi-shi's presence discouraging them from straying too long. That attitude aside, everyone here looked pretty normal. Your usual Japanese people, the lethargy from before was nowhere to be seen. Maybe they just looked lethargic because it was the early morning. Most looked like they were farmers, but I could see some students in uniforms bearing the same design as the ones worn by the students in Yasumizu. building itself was an aged wooden structure, but it was a whole lot bigger than the one in Yasumizu, and looked way sturdier too. The interior wasn't too pretty, but it was spacious. You grabbed a tray right after walking in, then got tea and rice bowls or whatever from the ladies in aprons. It felt like a high school cafeteria, but you couldn't choose what you wanted. You could refuse what you didn't want, though. Oh, I'll look after him. Don't worry. He spoke to the elderly woman once after, one after another, and made them stop staring at me with suspicion. Then we took our trays and, without paying anything, apparently they had something like union dues for that. How effective. Walked away. Parting the crowd, we searched for a place to sit down. It's a bit cramped in here, but please, do eat. I really appreciated getting to eat a normal meal. Yeah, he's been eating like top ramen for a while now. Lots of rice, miso soup, the one with vegetables and boiled beans. I thought it was a vegetarian at first, but then I felt something meaty inside. It's shishi. Not used to it? It doesn't taste that strange, does it? Shishi? Like inoshishi? Like boar? Not specifically. In here, deer, boar, all the wild meat is called shishi. Oh yeah, I heard that shishi once used to be a Japanese reading for meat, before it became niku. I'm surprised you know that. That doesn't seem terribly esoteric knowledge. The people of this area have been hunting for a long time, and even now the hunters share what they catch, like they did with this. I hadn't thought I'd ever eat wild game in such communal eatery. Lucky me. Though, the taste was kind of bland overall. That's true, a lot of game meat is like really bland. I could detect some soy sauce on the vegetables, while the boiled beans were kind of sweet. The soup stock, too, made me think they'd used the minimal amount of flavoring. The miso soup didn't really seem like miso soup. It was more like a stew. I missed 30 minutes. You missed almost 0, Zen. I talked for a while to show off the new assets. The miso soup didn't really seem like miso soup. It was more like a stew, probably because shishi was the only thing they used for stock. Oh yeah, all you missed was like, we're eating. Hey Yuki. Oh, nice name change. I like it. Yeah, I like everything that came through with this, actually. I might shrink the chat a little bit depending how fast it starts moving. But yeah, I think it all comes together really well. I couldn't call it good, but it was a unique local meal not everyone had the chance to eat. I was grateful for the experience. The eatery was still crowded as the people came and went, but Higuchi-shi didn't seem bothered as we talked. I kept up with him during the conversation, repeating the same lies I told to the officer, and making sure to look as much a poor, unfortunate soul as I could. He smiled all the way through, even as he interjected now and again. I feel like he was at least 100 times craftier than the officer, and I wondered if it was my inner contrarian speaking. After that, Higuchi-shi and I returned to the officer's post, but what would you say to Fusaishi-san moving to Fujiyoshi? It was what I'd wanted to hear, but I couldn't let it show on my face. While the officer was against it, he didn't intend to argue too strongly. He and Higuchi-shi discussed some things, but it seemed like Higuchi-shi already knew he'd treat me, and it didn't look like the officer's take mattered to him. After a few exchanges, the officer caved, and it was my turn to speak. You're okay with this too, aren't you, Fusaishi-san? Now, that was a smile I couldn't say no to, even if I wanted to. Well, it really did seem like the heads of Kami Fujiyoshi were a twisted bunch. Yes, the opportunity is a godsend for me. You can settle in right away, but it's going to be a place a short distance from here. Let's go. Was he serious? I don't mind. What kind of place is it? I'll tell you more in a moment. Oh, that reminds me. We have some people already headed there. Those two, huh? We'll ask them to take you there. There's no mistaking it. He smiled like he was harmless while forcing me into a settlement for the ostracized. So, I don't have to sign anything? Frankly, I'm glad we just don't have to deal with Kami Fujiyoshi. We can take care of that later. I know someone in Tokyo. He acts as a proxy for that. Anyway, we must start with your place of residence. You'd be a bother if you stayed in the officer's post, after all. I'll talk to the ones going. Don't worry. They are from the city, too. Oh, I'll have to tell the locals about you, too. I'll be quite busy, but I'm sure I can get it all done by lunch. Anyway, goodbye for now. He one-sidedly ended the conversation and left the post. Eh, nice guy. On the surface, at least. Yep. The officer understood the situation and didn't like it, but couldn't go against one of the heads. This was probably why Chiemi said I couldn't trust the police. In Fujiyoshi, even government institutions were only a second authority. Anyway, what could I make of this? I did actually expect to be sent to Yasumizu. The people here had no interest in harboring outsiders. After all, we weren't welcome. Or maybe they wanted to avoid the initial trouble caused by my immigration by letting me live with the ostracized until I got used to the village. Whatever the case, this wasn't something I had a say in, which made it seem really bad. That was probably why the officer was so against it. I could understand that. Higuchi-shi, on the other hand, seemed a bit heavy-handed with all this. I could understand him wanting to set me up with a place quickly. But as someone who knew about the feast, I couldn't help but be suspicious of the timing. The mists would come this evening, and he wanted to give Yasumizu a new inhabitant until then. Did Higuchi-shi, a head of Kami Fujiyoshi, understand what that meant? Oh god, I don't remember what they sound like. Have you ever read Kyoko Hyose's articles? Sorry. I went through a highly familiar exchange and finished my introduction to Hisako Mamiya a second time. Hello. It's nice to meet you. Hello. He was as hard to deal with as always. Hopefully he doesn't talk much. I cannot do like a big guy voice. Higuchi-shi works fast. Thorough too. He'd gotten back to me before noon, and before I knew it, I was greeting the ones who'd led me to my place. Just as I'd expected, they were the journalists. Higuchi-san said you'd already contacted the people in Yasumizu. What about you? Are you ready? Yes. I'm more worried about you, in fact. Oh, we're alright. If we can get there at noon, we won't have to stay hungry for long. Ooh, eating the food in Yasumizu, huh? I see. So you intended to come later for their convenience? Yes. He said we should avoid coming when the people there are eating. Honestly, I wanted to cover their eating environment, so that's a bit of a stroke of luck. Oh, so this probably also had something to do with the people of Fujiyoshi not wanting to show their daily lives to outsiders. They could have just refused them completely, though. Did the journalists have connections that made them impossible to refuse? Or did they want to show what a developed settlement it was? Or maybe they had no intention of letting them go. Unlikely. If they killed anyone from Yasumizu or some nobody like me, they could easily conceal it due to how isolated this location was. But the two journalists had come here to make an article. If something were to happen to them here, it'd be certain to draw unwanted attention in the village. On the other hand, if Kami Fujiyoshi's people knew that the feast was near, they probably wouldn't have allowed them here. I think we should head over now. What do you think, Hashimoto-san? Fine. Whoa, he was slow, but he actually communicated with someone. How rare. So, sorry for the bother, and thank you for having me. No worries. That was the first exchange I'd shared with him in this life, at least. Of course. Now, get in. Careful, Grandma jump scare incoming. The van started slowly traveling down the thin paved road between the farms. Come to think of it, May was rice planting season. The field had water all over it and didn't display a single weed. It was full of people planting rice seedlings by hand. They're not using machines. Looks like it. The people here don't seem to like modern technology. Combines and tractors aren't that new, if you ask me. I'm impressed they're doing such a good job by hand. I'm not sure they are. That's why big families here are trying to get heavy machinery for the job. I see. Like Higuchi-san? I heard the Migorama were in charge of farming developments. I see. So they have money, huh? Seems so. Not quite sure how that works. Something has to work here? How do I put this? What I mean to say is, the big families are strangely rich for a mountain village with an aging populace where the young go work outside. Hey, Yep, enjoy your lurk. I think we're getting into the heavy stuff now. because we've already looped around once, so maybe you'll get to see some serious shit. Yes, the Migurama house was really big. They even had a large foreign car. Yeah, even if it was something that could easily be explained, it was still something to keep in mind. Kyo-chan. Yes. Strange nickname Hashimoto-san used surprised me, but Mamiya-san herself didn't seem bothered. You shouldn't make too many assumptions. But the journalist within you is curious. God, this guy's a train wreck. It's nothing that big. I think you should just leave it at that. Is that your famous photographer intuition talking? Oh my God. Who knows? He just sounds like a slug, dude. It's bad. Well, alright. This isn't my specialty anyway. Anyway. Forget what I said. Yeah. Nope. By the way, I heard you're moving here. That's how it turned out. Have you heard about the place you're going to? No, I didn't, but I can imagine what it's like. My words made her give me a strange look. As in... It probably isn't a good place to live in. It be... I'm sorry. Oh, deep breath. I got the giggles. It probably isn't a good place to live in, it being separate from the main settlement and all. Well, why do you think that? Few people look comfortable about how I'd be treated. Excuse me. Few people looked comfortable at how I'd be treated. Well, Higuchi-san looked less like a nice guy and more like someone who could easily shrug off any guilt his actions would cause him. I see. Don't mind me though. I'm satisfied with where I'm going. Maybe I shouldn't say anything, but it's a really isolated place. I don't know if loving the countryside is enough to bear it. Don't worry, compared to dying, any place is heaven. Well, hold on, that must sound strange. What an awkward laugh. Apparently they'd been told I'd almost committed suicide. I'm curious though, what kind of place is this? It's, special. Yeah. Cute. She tried choosing her words. God damn. Oh man, I'm sorry. Whew. You gonna say the line, Bart? Cute, John. Say the line. She tried choosing her words carefully, but that made it sound worse than just a place for the ostracized. Hashimoto-shi seemed to be warning her, but she continued talking anyway. I still don't know much, but it's full of people who are unfairly forced to live there. Both the place and the people living there aren't regarded highly here in Kamifujiyoshi. Think before you go leaking information. I pick and choose who I'm saying this to. There's something a person who is moving there should know. It's only fair. That's something you should say. There's something you should say before that, though. Slug-sama. His voice is so like. Okay. Right. Sorry, Fusashi-san. Please keep this off the record. Sure. I won't say a word to the people there. With that in mind, are you sure? You can still go back with us if you change your mind after saying it. You wouldn't mind, would you, Hashimoto-san? I'll think about it if that's what he wants. Fusashi-san, do you want to leave with us? These two had an interesting relationship. Mamiya-san did all the talking, but Hashimoto-san seemed to outrank her. Hell, though he didn't speak much, everything he said was really well constructed. It made sense, so to speak. while Mamiya-san often became overly excited, Hashimoto-san was strangely stable, and not just in terms of appearance. That's rude. Well, this was no time to scrutinize my traveling companions. No, I don't feel like going back to the city anymore. Thank you for the consideration, though. But, Mamiya-san, you're probably saying this to a fellow city dweller, but you realize I'm a pretty shady character myself, right? I'm just grateful for your help. That's more than enough. I see. Then I won't say anything more. Haruaki Fusaishi, was it? Yes. You really don't look like a guy at the end of his rope. I get that a lot. Must be my carefree attitude. I see. I'm sorry. You know, one of my classmates in middle school committed suicide. He was always so carefree that we couldn't believe he'd done something like that. Guess that's the way it is sometimes. I may have said too much. Recalling the scene at the officer's post, I tried to get back into the character of the poor suicidal man. The van slowly ambled onward. We approached a slightly more open space, and it seemed to be the center of the village, and it looked like there were small shops there. But as we went on, it started to become even more desolate, and you could see more and more trees growing between the buildings. If that was where Kamifujiyoshi ended, it was only about 3 kilometers across. If it was about 10 square kilometers in size, it had 100 people for every one of them. The stones I'd seen back in Yasumizu were nowhere in sight. Apparently, they really were Yasumizu exclusive. I could see a larger building nearby, and Mamiya-san told me it was the branch school from some nearby town. All students in Fujiyoshi must get their education there before moving on to help in the fields. Smarter ones left to work outside the village upon graduating high school. Those who went from here to college were rare, meaning that, at least relative to other locals, Chemi was a prodigy. The students from Yasumizu should have been in school this time of day. Once we passed the last residence, we'd entered an area mostly untouched by human hand. The road led us into the overgrown mountains. There were large stones on each side of the road. Impressive, huh? They're like toris. Toris? Yes. Trees inhabited by birds serving the gods. Oh, tori. That's clever. Or a gateway through a sacred boundary. Fujiyoshi worships the mountain, apparently. Oh, Shinai, Great Lord Shinai. You know about that? Crap. Higuchi-san told me a few things. Anyway, you don't really hear that this mountain is a special outside this village, do you? I've never even heard of the god Shinai. Going by the kanji, it sounds like he's a monkey god of some sort, but that one is only used in calendars and directions. Weren't your articles about food? Sorry. I used to write about the occult. Quickly switched topics because it wasn't keeping food on the table. She looked like your typical neat and fashionable career woman, so this was really unexpected. Really? That sounds interesting, though. In this day and age, anyone who wants to read that kind of stuff just uses the internet. Everything in magazines is a lie, and all the real occult stuff is on the net. That's the general opinion of people into the occult these days. The piece of the pie that's still around was taken by the leading writers. We newbies didn't have a chance. Now that you mention it, I hadn't seen as many magazines on the occult and the supernatural these days. No idea if that was a good thing, though. The car passed a large boulder. The road is about to get bumpy. Be careful. Alright. The moment he said that, the car jumped, scaring the crap out of me. If those stones were the mountain's boundary, we were now in Great Lord Shinai's turf. Beyond it, we'd find Yasumizu and the Saranaga. The entrance to Yomi was beyond that second sacred ground. The religion just kept getting weirder and weirder. Eventually, the pavement ended, and we were on a gravel road. The grove of trees became a dark forest. It was cloudy, so there wasn't much light to begin with, which only made this place extra creepy. I composed myself. After all, the real creepiness was at the end of this road. We weren't saying a word anymore, and I thought about mundane stuff like the convenience of cars. We went down to the side of the mountain for about 20 minutes and eventually made it through God's narrow road. Beyond the dense forest, there was a relatively open space. We'd arrived at the entrance I'd passed when Haru-chan escaped the settlement, and I searched for her. There were the same 2 large stones, and they did a good job of telling me that this was some sort of boundary. We're close. I felt like I'd heard a hint of nervousness in her tone. We were about to enter a strange realm. Or were we already there? I wonder if they're looping too. There was no point thinking about it now. We just passed the gate and... she was... I stared, careful not to lose sight of her. Our eyes met. A mysterious red stare, white hair trailing behind her. She looked at the van as we passed. And she fell. Ah! She hit the stone. She hit her head on the stone and is now writhing in pain. Please, please stop the van. What? Sudden as it was, Hashimoto, she stopped the van, and I jumped and ran to her. Are you alright? Oh. She was still writhing on the ground with her hands in her head. There was no trace of the divinity and mystery from the last time, or from just even a moment ago. It hurts. I can tell. Who are you? Just a passerby. Who am I? Hold on. I merely wanted to say that. Oh, so you feel up to joking around at least, huh? Oh, was that a test? Does she know? Okay, I might be overthinking this now, but was she trying to test him to see if he's looping? Maybe there's like some unwritten agreement that every time you loop, you gotta like stick to the plan and like treat everyone like a stranger again. The pain made me lose my composure for a moment. The girl, or rather the woman, since she was older than me, became red as a tomato right before my eyes. Rikako Uematsu. She was an albino? Her skin and hair were pale, while her eyes were blood red. Her unusual appearance and manner of speech were exactly as I remembered. But man, where did all this playfulness come from? Well, I hadn't spoken to her much last time, so maybe I just didn't know her as well as I thought I did. Are you okay? Be honest. My late mother said that pain is proof that you are well. Hey, that depends on the situation. Excuse me. Slightly hesitant, I reached out for her head, gently touched it, and examined the damage. Ah! Oh, you're bleeding a bit. That's gonna leave a bump. You should take it easy for a while. Are you a doctor? No. This sort of thing is common knowledge. From the look of the wound, it isn't that bad, is it? Are you okay? Yes, but having my hair touched like that makes me feel a bit odd. I rather like that feeling, but I'm uncertain how I should respond. Oh, she likes head pats. Was the skin on her head sensitive or something? Physical intimacy with the first villager you meet. Not bad, Fusaishi-kun. What are you saying? Ah! Oh my god! Oh my god! A brown-haired man is trying to take Uematsu-san. Out of nowhere came the old lady. This girl got me twice, dude. No, I'm not. Listen up, lady. Oh, don't slip up, Haruaki. Uematsu-sama slipped and hit her head, so I just... Oh! What horrible things did this hoodlum do to you, Uematsu-sama? How awful! Dude, get out of my face, lady. I'm about to punch. She wasn't listening at all. Oh my god, that scared the crap out of me. Oh. Feeling a bit stupid for worrying so much about her, I explained what happened and cleared up the misunderstanding. Oh. Bro, I was joking when I said the grandma jump scare was coming again. My apologies for the trouble. The ones to blame are the ones who misunderstood. That's right. It's never the speaker's fault. Sorry. Sumimasen. Sorry. Now, Uematsu-sama, you should come and rest at home. No need to worry about me, Yamawaki-san. Nosato-sama is in Yasumizu right now. I'll call him. We can take you. Yes. Please do. Now, this was unusual. She hated outsiders, but she couldn't say no to Hashimoto-san's presence. Uematsu-san, was it? Are you sure you don't have to go to the hospital? We have a doctor here. They have a doctor there? Really? That's good then. We'll give you a hand. Want to get on? I apologize for the trouble. Sorry, Fusashi-kun, you're stuck in the back. Oops, sorry, banged my microphone. It was full of equipment though. You know what? I can walk. Don't. I've been talking nonchalantly, but her response was a stern one. She knows more than she's letting on for sure too. She might be looping. Well, it was true I could have caused some serious trouble if I arrived completely alone. I knew this from my experience arriving via Saranaga. Also, I wasn't supposed to be familiar with the area. I had to avoid looking suspicious. My apologies. It's fine. Don't worry about it. No, I mean, I am Uematsu Rikako. Rikako is in plum flower, and Uematsu is in spin and end. Oh, right. We haven't properly introduced ourselves yet. Fusaishi Haruaki. Fusa from kitchen and Ishi from stone tools. And then Haruaki from the Japanese for Neo-Confucianism. Fusaishi Haruaki? I felt like she didn't get it at all. Anyway, thanks to that, I became an inhabitant of the back seat of a fellow passenger alongside Uematsu Rikako. For a brief moment anyway, we didn't speak much. The only noteworthy thing was that strange smell of dried aromatic wood she'd brought along. Besides that, I was just struggling to keep my seat as we jostled down the bumpy road. Leaving a trail on an unpaved road, we arrived and drove through Yasumizu. We passed the front of Nosato Mansion, then the construction site, Tai-san's house, probably, until finally we arrived at the plaza. By the time we got there, Uematsu-san seemed to be in perfect health and apologized profusely for the trouble that she'd caused, though it'd be best if she took care of the wound on her head. Mamiya-san and I went alongside her and took her to the house she was living in. Oh man. It was that same place where she'd lost her mind and the rest of us had barricaded her in. Now then, I shall wait for Nosato-sama, just in case. Take care. Yes. Fusaishi-sama, I will surely make it up to you. Oh, don't worry about that. Meh. Whoa! I'd completely forgotten about Uematsu-san's extra. Oh, who's this girl? You did not see her yesterday? She wandered into the Yasumizu 2 days ago. Oh, from Kami Fujiyoshi. I can drive her back if you want. No, she... why not ask someone else? Rikako-san needs to rest. Oh. You have a point. She's kind of loopy, eh? And we'll be leaving now. What about this girl? Meiko. Meh. Uematsu-san called to Meiko and brought her inside. A strong smell began wafting from the building. Maybe they were burning incense? She's a cutie, isn't she? Yeah. Her attire, combined with her appearance, made her look just mystifying. Attire? You didn't notice? While it's in the style of a Shinto shrine maiden uniform, the dark coloration is clearly Buddhism influenced. It's clearly a religious garb. I never expected a place so remote to have its own religion. How exciting. Oh, you have no idea, lady. It's good to be enthusiastic about your work, but there are limits to how far you should pry, don't you think? Man, Everyone seemed to just appear out of nowhere this time. Yeah, you're telling me. Oh, Nasato-san. I'm sorry. Are you here to treat Uematsu-san? He's a doctor? Mamiya-san gave a confident journalistic smile and spoke to Kiyonosuke and Nosatoshi. Yes, if you're aware of that, then please clear the way. And who is this man? He's Haraki Fusaishi-san. Higuchi-san sent him here to live. Huh? Hello. I hope we can get along. You're not from Fujiyoshi, are you? No, I'm not. Things happen. I left Tokyo and ended up here. What is Higuchi thinking? You have my sympathy, though. Anyways, I'm off. I'm coming in, Rikako-san. Creep. Sympathy, huh? As condescending as always. What a creeper. After parting ways with him, we returned to the plaza. Hashimoto-san was taking photos of a small flower nearby. I can imagine that someone had told him not to take photos of the houses. We were the only ones here, and I couldn't hear anything but the wind. It was strangely quiet. Like always, this place is. She fell silent before finishing her derisive comment. Wise move. Wouldn't be good to finish that comment by comparing this place to a ghost town. Let's go. You're going to the dining hall, right? Yes. Despite having next to nothing to do with me, Mamiya-san was helping me out a lot. Then again, she was heading there too. Here we go. Oh god. Oh, I've been waiting for you. You're Fusaishi-san, yes? And hello to you, too, Hosei-san and Hashimoto-san. Oh. Hey, hey. It took a lot to keep myself from saying, hello, hello, hello. Higuchi-san sent me here. Pleasure to meet you. Shoji Higuchi-san had pushed me into working at the dining hall here. Not the watering hole, but the dining hall. He strongly emphasized that it wasn't under his control. That was why it had been decided I'd met Kaori-san. She had an oval, composed, slightly haggard face, and I couldn't see a hint of that demon from before. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's gonna eat the food this time. Apparently, it was for their children. Some parents could become both demons and angels. I can be your angel, or I can be your devil. I kind of feel like that applied to the entire history of mankind, for better or for worse. My, you're well behaved for someone so young. Oh, no, I'm just a failure. Oh, come on now. But are you sure you want to, you know... It's fine. Many people say otherwise, but this is a nice place. It is. But I don't know if you've been told, but this dining hall is more like a ration distribution house. This is hard for me to say, but you won't be paid. The most we can offer is meals. I don't mind. If I can live a simple life, I don't need money. Hi. What are you, some old fart? Suddenly, Yoshitsugu Oribe-kun had walked through the door, displaying the same recklessness that probably gotten him killed last time. Hey, Lid. Yeah, I need money too. Yoshitsugu, why are you not in school? Shut it. I said I ain't going. Hey, you fucking zombie. Heard you come here because you couldn't die. That's so lame. So it's funny because he's actually 100% correct. Even though, you know, the lie is that we were committing suicide. But we literally are here because we can't die. Yoshitsugu, how dare you? Oh, word spread fast around here, huh? They called and told Kaori-san about it, and then she told it to several other people, and it probably leaked. How is Yoshitsugu alive? Everyone's alive. We looped all the way back around. Yeah, I'm so lame. Oh, my mom would have... True. He would have gotten the chanclas and the paddle. The hell? Are you okay upstairs? I can't say I am. I'm an idiot. Let's go. Hey, Hag, don't hire this guy. He'll mess up the place. don't want to hear that from someone who doesn't go to school or help around. Shut up! Hey you, brown-haired dumbass! You seriously came here to die? Or is that an act or something? I twitched. As if. Hey, Heg, this guy's weird as hell. My name isn't Hag. I know I have nothing to do with this, but you should keep your joking around to a minimum. This guy, she's such a buzzkill. Sorry, I just felt like we've been living together for a long while, so we'll be living together for a long while, so I ought to be as friendly as possible. Yoshitsugu-kun, was it? Want to make a bet? Yeah, I bet you die before I do, fucker. Huh? What kind of bet, you coward? I looked into my large bag and took something out. Specifically, a new pocket knife. Where did we get this? I hate him? Yeah, same. Use this to cut off my pinky. Everyone instantly fell silent. Let's go, let's go. That's what you do, you just pop off. Someone starts being rude to you, you just get weird. I ignored them and continued. Come on, I'll put my hand down and I'll put the knife right here. The hell did you say? I'm saying I'll let you shorten my finger as a sign of our friendship. I'm saying that's insane. Hell, that's something you do yourself. You're making me do this because you can't do this yourself, huh? You really are a coward, huh? I can do it myself. But this is a bet and a test of courage. If you're gonna call me a coward, you gotta show that you're not a coward yourself, right? Swing the knife, and if you win, swing the knife down and you win. If I don't back out, I win. That means that if you cut off my finger, we both win. Then we'd be friends with no hassle involved. Listen, I'm gonna press 1 AD. You can do one of two things. You can try to throw me or you can assault. If you try to throw me, I win. But if you assault, we both win. What do you think, Yoshitsugu-kun? Yeah, I don't think the guy who loses his pinky is winning. I smiled and pointed the knife on the table with my finger. The hell are you talking about? Are you nuts? That's pretty much what you're saying now, so yeah, I really am nuts. Or what? You prefer normies? You, who looks like that and gives no respect to his mother? I prefer weird people, you see. Show me how insane you can get. Let's get crazy. Man, this was just so much fun. I guess when you're like effectively immortal, you can just do shit like this, and I mean that's how I'd have to pass the time. I thought we were supposed to get choices. Yeah, the choice is an illusion, or a dude. Can I? Yoshitsugu-kun looked right about ready to shit his pants. Yeah, he's like Wolverine. He just knows. Like Wolverine just doesn't even feel pain anymore. He just like his face will get melted off. He's like, yeah, whatever. But it was time to back off. Gotcha. What a shame, huh, Yoshitsugu-kun? I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do something that'd hurt me that much. Well, even if we can't get along now, we'll be friends eventually. This is like the original. This is like when Kaiba got up on the ledge and was like, yeah, you can attack me directly, but I'm literally going to jump off this cliff if you do that. So if you don't want to have that on your conscience, you better scoop. I wish I could make plays like that. That's some Sigma plays. You actually think that helps? Jokes aside, he was actually pretty sharp. He and his brother were nothing alike, but it wouldn't have been surprising if he also had a talent for seeing through people. Yeah, Yami gave no sheets. He's like, you want your grandfather back? Or you want this random billionaire to live? You know, eat the rich, dude. Just let Kaiba jump off the ledge. He had Higuchi blood in his veins, after all. Perhaps it was genetic. He left without saying another word. Kaori-san didn't even tell him to go to school. I'm sorry. That was weird, huh? No, my stupid son had it coming. That shocked me a bit, though. You have nerve, don't you? No, I don't. I'm the one who called it off, so I lost. He probably would have done it if I kept pushing him. That's something. That's nice. Tell a kid's mother. Yeah, your kid would have cut off my finger. After all, he was the type who would pick a fight with someone inhuman and die. True. He probably didn't want to draw blood in front of his mother. I think he's a good kid at heart. My words almost make Kaori-san smile, but... Oh, but I do feel embarrassed. He grew too big for me to handle, and now all I can do is scold him. She decided to keep up the act of the strict mother. Puberty and rebellion sure seemed complicated. Fisaishi-kun, come here for a second. I did just that. Are you actually one of those kinds of people? Did they send someone after you? Would it be over if they caught you? Huh? No. I suggested the finger thing for no real reason. Trust me, I won't trouble the people here. I hope so. She was actually suspicious. Sus. I had to act out a better normal person, and there was no time to mess around. Anyway, I'm here to help with anything. Use me however you like. Oh, very well. This was decided by those up there anyways, but before that, I wonder, where will you be staying? Oh, I kind of expected them to already be decided on that. I'm gonna go introduce myself to everybody. Whom should I ask about that? The one in charge of the land is Yamawaki-san. The old lady from before. She lives in one of those houses we passed. Oh yeah, when Takumi-san gave me the key to my dorm room, he told me he got it from the old lady. Was she the landlord of Yasumizu? Maybe she's not too far, like, visiting Uematsu-san or something. Oh, did something happen? Yeah, she scared the pants off me. She fell and hit her head, and I left to talk to Mamiya-san and open the door so I could see the plaza. By the time I realized that something else was on the other side, it was fully open. Seeing the person's face almost made me say her name in surprise. Chieme Serizawa. Baby. I couldn't save her. I couldn't fulfill my promise. But we'd met again, thanks to the strange looping phenomenon. Whether it was something to feel thankful about was another matter. Hi, nice to meet you. I kept my surge of emotions under control and gave an amicable smile. But, just as she made that simple sound, a lone tear ran down her cheek. Does she know too? Oh, do I have something in my eye? Her voice was calm. The first tear made way for many more, and they were soon streaming from both eyes. No, this is gonna make me cry, bro. What? Oh, Kaori-san, do you have a hand towel? Her reaction didn't seem to be anything more than confusion in her body going out of control. So maybe her body remembers, but her mind doesn't. Oh my, what's wrong? Here you go. I don't know. Do you have tear gas in here or something? Perhaps the shishinari I'm making for the journalists is rotten. Hey, I didn't mean that. What is it then? Menopause? Oh my god, she's so precious. Come on now, you're far too young for that. Sorry for acting weird. She wiped her tears. Her eyes didn't look good, but her voice was cheerful and carefree. Just like in my memories. You're the person who suddenly ended up living here, right, mister? That was the word you used as strangers. Why had she cried? Yes. Am I that scary? No. You look perfectly fine. It's just, well, a mysterious event. My name is Chieme Serizawa. I'm a student back home for the time being. I know I made a poor first impression, but I hope we can get along. So here's what I'm thinking. I think everybody remembers the loop, but it's kind of this implicit like understanding that nobody talks about it. And you just got to hold that in until the events play themselves out. You don't think they remember. I kind of feel like they do. Maybe not. Okay. So Yeah, it's interesting. It could be either, eh? She bowed to me. She really didn't know who I was. Due to the looping phenomenon, dying had sent me back to the point where I was wandering around on my bike. I think they remember like you did on your first loop. You probably won't fully remember until near the end. But for whatever reason, you remember. And I don't know. I actually, so what I want to do is I want to rebel. I want to rebel against the protagonist is special trope in this case. But you're probably right. It was something that actually happened, and I had to accept it, but it was also completely unreasonable. I didn't have any good way to reasonably explain it. Was the looping centered around me? Was I really the... How's this game do this every time? I take a second to talk about a thought, and it, like, immediately hits you with, like, I know what you're thinking about. Was I really the only one who had memories of last time? It wouldn't be strange for there to be someone else. My memories were fragmented right now, and I often remember things only when it counted. It could be that the others had forgotten almost everything, but still had certain fragments of their memories and feelings. I had to stop thinking about this. I couldn't have asked her to console me about the tragic end that hadn't even happened yet. I'd have been barking up the wrong tree. There's also the potential that like everyone's looping for the first time, because apparently the mist hadn't come in anyone's lifetime previously. So maybe everyone's experiencing this for the first time. If everything worked out, I hoped I could get close to her again. Love that depended on death, despair. The crying thing is a common trope for I don't remember you. Oh yeah, like yeah, that's true. Like in the your name type beat where like I'm pretty sure they cried when they saw each other. Yeah, that's possible. Love that depended on death, despair, and the suspension bridge effect was better off staying in the realm of fiction where it belonged. We exchanged a few words, but I didn't have much time. I had to focus on getting a place to stay. Anyway, just like I said, I first went to Uematsu-san's house. Obviously, it didn't seem like there were many people inside. I hesitated for a moment, but ended up knocking. Who is it? That was Meiko's voice. Could she even understand me? I'm Fusaishi from before. Fusaishi from before? That's cute. Oh my god, that's so cute. Fusaishi from before-san? No, just Haruaki Fusaishi. Is the old lady here? No. Oh, so I was off the mark. Alright, see you then. Yeah. What? Oni-chan. Fusaki-san. Fusayuki-san. Wrong. Please, wait a moment. Oh, Uematsu-san. She told me to wait, so I did. Soon enough, the door opened up. I apologize for the wait. How may I help you? I'm looking for Yamawaki-san. From how she acted, I thought she came to visit you. I haven't seen her yet. Looks like it. Well, I'll be going then. Oh, what do you need her for? Well, I'm gonna live here now, and I still don't have a place to live. You will live here? Yes, and I need to talk about that. What did she mean by this? Literally, what did she mean by this? But you cannot be without a place to stay. Yeah. Oh god, no. Oh my god. Y'all, I'm gonna start freaking out. Prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive. That made me flinch. Did it show on my face? The people of Fujiyoshi believe that the mist is an ill omen. If it comes, we must clean our bodies, shut ourselves in, and go to sleep early. Cleanse, shelter, dream. That's an interesting tradition. Remember the first night when she like freaked the fuck out and like had arrows and stuff pointing everywhere? That was what I would have thought if I didn't know about the tragedy. This might be presumptuous, but I do know of one empty house. Huh? She took Meiko to entertain herself, and I took a key from her house. Instead of telling me more about it, she insisted on going outside despite my polite protests. I had no choice but to follow after. We passed the plaza and went down the hill. She tripped 2 times. She's tripping a lot. It hurts. Looks like it. I fall and hurt my head on the regular, so I'm used to the pain. I don't remember her to be a klutz. You really shouldn't walk around the grass like in that attire. This is an Uematsu's duty. Hey, Blueberry, thanks for the follow. Definitely will be talking with you soon. It is? The spider are bedroom woman servants. They're like concubines? That was a new term. Bedroom woman servants. Women who serve you in the bedroom? That sounds sexy. And the spider was one of the guardians of Great Lord Shinai. That reminded me. Chemi had told me that Uematsu were the family of the spider. When the power of the Yomi rises from Saranaga, it is said to bring madness first and foremost. That was why the Uematsu of old had a role protecting the dreams of the villagers. Dude, this is... When they get this close, I get nervous. Were they like night watchmen or something? It wouldn't have been weird for a police-like force to still retain power in this day and age. But you'd fall all the time at night, so you walk around during the day instead, huh? Oh, she alright? By the way, do all the heads of the village have roles like that? Chiame can get close? Alright, I guess that's fair. Chiame can get close. Yes, I'm surprised you noticed. I came here through Kami Fujiyoshi and Higuchi-san. Well, he looked pretty powerful. The Higuchi family are the monkey, protector of the watering hole's flame. There was that term again, watering hole. They said they used fire when it wasn't allowed, huh? Yes. We are told they claimed to run a watering hole. Well, in actuality, they were teaching people to use fire. Oh, excuse me, yawning. And they use this to gain influence as the source of everyone's food. What about Nosato-san's family? They're one of the head families too, aren't they? The Nosato are the crow, the eve eaters. I have no idea what that means. They inspect if a corpse belonged to a Yomibito or not. They performed autopsies? That didn't seem very important. They were actually the healers. They were the ones who could use aconite, also known as the wolf's bane. Nosato is the family that made medicine. Wolf's bane, the plant. There's aconite in this food. Checks out. Well, an autopsy was a medical procedure, and if they could use poisonous plants on top of it, they could have easily garnished a lot of respect. I see. And what was the last one? The Miguruma. Right. I hadn't met a single person linked to that. The snake are the tower lookouts. The Uematsu aren't the lookout family. That doesn't give me enough. Tower as in watchtower. So they're in charge of the military. No, they used to build watchtowers and watch the stars. They made calendars, read the weather, and led the local farms. That role made them respected, and eventually they became Shinai-sama's priests. So yeah, they're like the astronomers. That's why the snake can like divine who is whatever. We had our TV weather ladies now, but back in the day, astronomy and meteorology were linked to divination. And there you go. Leading many to consider them special powers that led them to predict the future and bring good things in general. Farming was the building block of civilization. Having it was a matter of life and death, so it was only natural for those who offered guidance in that field to become leaders. Thank you for telling me. This place has a rich history, huh? I think I could grow attached to it. I see. This is the first time I've ever heard such words spoken. Really? It's pretty interesting, though. I never explained this to someone born outside of Fujiyoshi. Oh, right. She'd refused to go into detail last time. Infiltrating their village really was a good idea, huh? Yeah, we got all this info. Oh, look. We have gone all the way. Here it is. Yeah, we really did go all the way, huh? Sure takes a lot out of you. No, we did not do anything strange. Her speech was still odd, and what the hell was up with her imagination? She could send my verbal curveballs to another dimension. Anyway, there was a wooden house. It was much like the ones near the plaza, except a bit more aged. It looked relatively stable, though. Most of Fujiyoshi is actually private property of the Higuchi, the Nosato, and the Uematsu. Fujiyoshi used to be owned by the Miguruma alone. But now that extends to all the current heads serving the Miguruma. Oh, so the Miguruma are like the big family. That was new to me. So you're saying this place belongs to you, Rikako-san? What the fuck? Oh, sorry for being so forward with you. No, I don't mind, but yes, this land is mine. A person lived here until recently. So, has he passed away or something? Oh, okay, he called her by her first name. Yeah, oh, she's definitely into him. Yes, it was a peaceful death. That sounded like a real blessing here in Yasumizu. Does that bother you? It's clean inside. I'd have been lying if I said I wasn't bothered, but, you know, I chose to take a look. She hadn't been kidding. The inside was shabby. The wood was aged, and the floor was clean. I couldn't see much dust. The tatami was new, too, though that meant it had to be changed. Careful, tatami. Biken. I hope it doesn't take a weird harem turn. No, well, even if it does, even if this becomes some harem bullshit, there's only one correct choice in the town. Unless you can go like male x male, in which case we're 100% dating Muro. But at least there wasn't some human-shaped mark on the floor. There was no furniture, but I could easily get a futon or something. What about the bath? I do not think this place receives gas. That's bad. What can I offer if the mists come? You wish to be able to cleanse? You merely have to fill the pail with well water and wipe yourself with it. Ew! No? Well water is so gross. That's enough? Yes. I hear it was rare to bathe in warm water in Fujiyoshi. Oh, yeah, because only the watering hole could use fire. That's right. That made sense. Anyways, I was now ready. Are you sure I can use this house? Yes. That would make all the daily cleaning worth it. Huh? You clean this place yourself? Yes, because taking in the corruption is one of Uematsu's roles. She is being so open about literally everything with him. It took days to get this information on the first loop. She's either trying to impress him or she remembers something and like is trying to influence. Did something bad happen? She fell silent. Sorry, that was insensitive of me. No, it was not that something happened. I was afraid of what could happen. Yeah, he didn't come from the river, but like, do you just gush about this stuff to somebody you just met today? She looked at the mountain beyond the valley. No, it was the valley itself, and the Saranaga Rapids at the bottom. Back to the heads. Did the Miguruma still predict the weather and stuff? Part of me thought I might be prying too deeply. That's wild that the river makes that much of a difference. During spring and autumn festivals, they ask for abundant harvests, dance for them, and chant ritual prayers. I heard this was supposed to be based on what they did in the past. Thankfully, we've had no major droughts or famines. Oh, so in a way, they have a perfect track record. Yamawaki-san knows this well. You might wish to ask her. She would be pleased to talk. I wonder if Uematsu knows the truth about the feast in general. Maybe. That seemed true. Oh, sorry for taking up so much of your time, Uematsu-san. Thank you so much. I'll make it up to you. Oh yeah, she is like, she's got it bad. Oh god, I came into Ryer talking high-pitched. Oh yeah, get ready, Cap. I got S-tier voice acting. Oh, I also merely wanted to thank you for your help during my embarrassing accident. Wasn't she basically blaming me here? Lots of things happened already, but I hope we can keep getting along well. If you think I can help, don't be afraid to ask. Fusaishi-sama? Oh, and Sama doesn't suit me. You can be more casual. You don't have to use such polite speech. Crap. Fusaishi. I can't. Fusaishi-sama, I would like to ask of you the same. Please call me however you like. Was I actually raising some flags here? Was the game this easy these days? Did she seriously fall in love over a bit of help after a head injury? Was this a soap opera or something? Well, not that I was complaining. Then, Rikako-san. Oh my god. No, this was something else. She was just especially vulnerable to men. You know, she's just had Nosato creeping on her entire freaking life, so probably any other man is a welcome welcome change. As a family head, she was probably either revered from a distance or considered an enemy. Takumi did the latter. She probably never talked to somebody who cared about those things. They actually made me feel kind of bad for her. That actually made me feel kind of bad for her. Okay. Okay. Then let's call each other Uematsu-san and Fusaishi-san. Let's become good friends. Oh, friends? Yes. I would love that. In a part of the village with no one but us, we exchanged a deep bow. I'll marry you to get away from Nosato. Uematsu-san then returned, and I checked the house for any holes. It seemed fine in the front. No monsters could get inside. Oops, sorry, I clicked out for a second. Anyway, I had my place. Now, I had to get one for Mamiya-san and Hashimoto-san. Oh, right, they're gonna, like, melt if they get stuck here. I tried to think of a way to encourage them to leave before the mist came, but all the things I could think of seemed unnatural. That meant my only option was the opposite, convincing them there was no way to leave, so they'd have to stay. Honestly, I did just consider letting them die, but as long as I survived, I didn't really care if they did, but that didn't sit right with me. Have you had any choices since solving the policeman stuff? No, there have been no choices. I wasn't a good guy, but not doing whatever I could right now seemed careless. Nope, there's been no choices. My ultimate goal was to escape the loops, but at the moment, all I could really do was prevent the tragedy before me. I'd think of something else if it didn't work out, but for now, I had no reason to abandon my humanity. That was why I returned to the plaza. It was still really empty, and the two journalists were probably working. This was my chance. I approached the left back wheel of Hashimoto Shi's van, slashed these tires. Reached into my bag, I pulled out the hammer and nails I'd bought. Placed the tip of a nail against the tire and pop, hammered it in. You could hear the sound of air leaving. That had to be good enough. I then did the same with the other rear tire, as well as one of the front ones. Might as well do it for good measure. There. After that, I had a random array of extra nails around those just to make it look like trap or something had been run over in the grass. They couldn't leave now. I already knew that they didn't have anything that could fix the tires, and they couldn't get in touch with any road service until after the mist passed. If someone from Kamifujiyoshi came to pick them up and left without their car, they would be fine too. They would have been fine too. Sorry. Not that I expected anyone to come. Now, I just had to convince them that they had to stay here. It was a really haphazard plan. It seemed like the locals trapped them on purpose. I'd have to think of something to say about that. Anyway, I did what I could for them. Now I just had to wait and... Fusaishi-sama? Whoa, whoa, whoa. My heart almost burst out of my chest. What's the matter, Rikako-san? Oh, that name again. I'm sorry. What's wrong, Uematsu-san? I am hungry, so I came to eat. That, huh? Well, I was pretty hungry myself. Wait, there's something more important to worry about. Had she seen me? This is a large car. It is. What the hell was up with this pressure? Was it some Kamifuji head superpower? Had she waited for me to confess or something? Was she waiting for me to confess or something? I had no choice, but I had to think up a new lie. But looking at her red eyes made me feel like she'd see through any bullshit that I spun. Crap, maybe I should just come clean. I am hungry. She actually not thinking anything? What do you think I was doing here? Huh? Searching for wood lice? Did you think I was as old as Mako? No. Look here. The tire's flat. Oh dear. See? It's got this inside. So long and thick. And look how deep this is. Oh dear. How forceful. Oh! God, lady, get the fuck back. The brown-haired man is taking away Matsusama in broad daylight. Oh! Again, dude, I know what this thumbnail is gonna be today. Y'all aren't ready for my thumbnail today. Man, what the hell was with her appearances this time around? Okay, yeah, I couldn't lie. This conversation was pretty messed up. That's an outrageous misunderstanding. I'll go call for the journalists. I hate this lady, dude. What? You've got to be kidding me. Hisako-san was completely perplexed. No, this is troubling. I still couldn't read his expression, but I could totally sympathize with someone being basically stranded in a place like this. How unfortunate. They weren't suspicious of me, so I acted like an innocent, sympathetic bystander. Oh, the heartache. We were supposed to head back tonight. What are we going to do? Do you have any plans? I'm fine, but what about you? My daughter's birthday is close. Ah, Nami-chan. Ow, the heartache. I had no idea he had a daughter, or was married, or for that matter. The fact that it had come as a surprise just made my pain worse. Oh, the misery. But I shouldn't feel guilty about this. If I just ignored them, they haven't been torn apart by a monster. Oh my, what do we do? Yasumizu has no cars in the first place. Hey, Red Creeper, welcome. Good to see ya. Nosata-sama might have something useful. Oh god, my voice for these two is the same. Their words made me twitch. These tires are special, so that would be difficult. We do have a single spare, but... Let's contact road service. Oribe-san, may we use the phone? Yes, of course. Right this way. They all returned to the dining hall. Grandma, I swear to God. Okay, stay that far away. 6 feet, Grandma. I have a bad feeling about this. I was left alone with a peculiar duo, but then we were joined by a muscly silhouette who had come from the fields. Let's go, Muto. What are you doing, Oba-chan? Uematsu and, who are you? This is Haruaki Fusaishi-san. Sama. Ooh, Sama. She went out of her way to introduce me, though. She still couldn't leave off the Sama. I'm moving here. I hope we can get along. Oh, you're that guy, huh? I'm Takumi Muro. A pleasure. You don't look like you're from Kamifuji-yoshi. An outsider, then. That's rare. Sorry you ended up here. They really had to do something about their habit of showing sympathy for anyone who came here. Yes, I came here from the city. I'm sorry I'm so suspicious and flashy. I'll re-dye my hair. All right. That'd be good. Well, she hates that sort of thing. Well, I don't really care, though. I care more about something else. As in...
If you're useful in the field. Unlike Kamifuji Yoshi, Yasumizu doesn't abandon its people, but we don't have room for those who can't earn their keep.
While mentioning Kamifuji Yoshi, he glanced at Uematsu-san.
Well, you look like you have the build for it. You can start by mowing the grass around the upper fields.
But I was told to work in the dining hall.
Whoa. What? You're working with Kaori-san?
Crap, I messed up. Takumi, you're a fine man. Just tell her how you feel. Dude, everyone's so aggro this loop. He's simping. Pepe laugh, point and laugh.
What do you mean? I'm not thinking anything that outrageous. She supports 2 grown sons and feeds everyone with her frail arms. I'm gonna kill any guy who takes advantage of her.
That was plenty outrageous.
Hey, what did you do to get her to take you? Spill it.
Took a lot of effort to keep myself from lying and fueling the fire here. Higuchi-san from Kamifuji Yoshi, right? He sent me to work with her. Nothing suspicious. Takumi Shi became apathetic.
I guess that's fine then.
I'll try to become able to work outside too.
That's great and all, but for now, just watch. If we made you do too much, they might get on our cases about it.
Huh? They care about what kind of work people do here?
They don't. They just want to be sure that we listen to them. So, what are you all up to? Where's Kaori-san?
The journalist's car broke, so she went to make a call.
Huh? That's pretty bad. Can they leave?
It's best to assume they'll won't have it fixed today. Awful. This was getting nowhere. Do you have any open rooms? That house was the only one I could give. Uematsu-sama, you gave Gen-san's house to him? Ooh, who's Gen? Yes. Houses die if people do not live in them. Take care of that house, will ya? A good person used to live there. Of course. Don't you dare use it to take advantage of Uematsu-sama. That cannot happen to her. Understand?
What? You two are like that?
No, it's a complete misunderstanding, but it seems to keep being taken as fact, and honestly, I'd appreciate it if it wasn't. We went off on a tangent. What do we do here? I'd have liked it if I, the newbie, didn't have to be the one making the conversation progress.
I don't really think it's good if outsiders stay in Yasumizu. Neither side'd like it. Ba-chan, you got any free houses?
The one I gave to Meiko-chan was the last one. The rest had holes or didn't have walls. You can't even shelter in those. Liar. There was room in the dorms. Oh.
You sure slept for long, Chiemi. Go help out the old man.
Sorry. I got in the habit of sleeping while I was away. By the way, Taiba-chan, there's one free room in the dorm. Chi-chan, you know that place was built by Yoshimitsu-san. He worked hard negotiating with the 4 families to get it built. He said he wanted for at least the children here to live in nice places closer to Kamifuji Yoshi. That's why he had concrete stairs built on the hill and... She started talking about the past again.
Well, Fusaishi, you see what kind of place Yasumizu is, huh?
I already knew.
Anyway, I just hope they can fix the car.
This was bad. Just as expected, the road service would take a long time to get here. They'd be here sometime in the middle of the night if they tried to come right away. The mountain road was even more dangerous at night, so they agreed on the service coming early in the morning. which led us back to the talks about where they'd stay. Though, by the time the discussion was over, Yamawaki-san, who was done talking, had left. She really gave us outsiders the cold shoulder, huh? Takumi-san tried suggesting they stay in their van, and I was surprised to hear that they were receptive to the idea. Them being a man and a woman was one thing, but I was more concerned if that van had enough space for someone that huge and another person to lie down. Still, it looked like they were about to agree to just leave it at that, but that was no good. They wouldn't survive the night like that. So far, the only people I hadn't met were the students, who were still in school, Kanzo Makishima-san, who was out hunting, and the old man who cried wolf. Since I'd met just about everyone, I chose to take my leave. Wouldn't have been natural if I tried to talk them out of that. I had to get places for them, but my only option was one I didn't have much faith in. Anyway, doorbell.
Oh, you're the new one. What do you want?
There's a problem that I think only a village head can solve.
Well, I don't mind the sentiment. You can knock off the awkward flattery. Why not act more like yourself?
Is my politeness that insincere? Sorry. Now, about what I came here for. Is it true that the mists are coming soon? The effect my words had on Kionosuke was impressive. He tried to act calm, but his wandering eyes made it clear he wasn't.
What? Who told you about that? Who mentioned that superstition to you right when you just got here?
Uematsu-san. Yeah, that's a good answer. He fell silent. This guy was easy to read. Someone else told me about the mists themselves, though. The one who sent me here, Shoji Higuchi-san.
Oh, Shoji. He's 1 year younger than me. What did he say?
I might have misheard it, but he said there might be mists soon. There was no truth in my words, but they would become true when the mists came. But Uematsu-san said there was something that must be done if the mists come. There are people who are stuck here because their van has flat tires. I'm wondering what they should do.
Oh, well, that's news to me. How troublesome.
It is. What do you think?
Early summer mists here in Yasumizu happen only every decade or two.
Decade or two?
Well, it would be impossible for them to appear now, but I don't think I saw signs of it happening anytime soon.
I see. By the way, what's so dangerous about it? Everyone here seems so tense.
When the mists come to Yasumizu, someone always dies.
Is that okay to say?
Oh, excuse me. Oh, don't misunderstand. The mists you get here are far more dense than any you know. I hear they make you as good as blind.
I knew that, but yeah, I couldn't have imagined mists so dense unless I saw them for myself.
That's why the people here were taught to stay indoors whenever that happened. But you have fools who still go outside and fall to their deaths or something.
I see.
Do you see the destroyed construction site not far from here? That was a project run by my family, but it ended when the mist led to on-site deaths. Seriously, they could have pulled up sooner, but the overseer was too strict.
Felt stupid for ever considering crazy theories about some Saranaga illness. That mist was dangerous in and of itself, and that made for a good official reason to stay indoors when it came. He seemed to believe that the official reason and thought it wouldn't kill him. If he actually knew about the true dangers lurking in the mist, he'd do everything he could to leave Yasumizu. He was from a head family, but he didn't seem to know all the secrets. She, on the other hand, must have known something. I'd love to find out more, but... Hold on. He just told me something weird. The mist led to on-site deaths.
Did you see the aftermath of the landslide uphill? It's been like that ever since the Nosatsu got to work on that place 8 years ago and it collapsed. They were too freaked out to even clean it up. I ended up digging out the workers' corpses and burying them.
I was told that Takumi-san buried the bodies. But if it happened in the mist during a feast of the Yomi Purge, didn't that mean he should have been present during the feast? From what I could tell last time, the mist scared the people here and drove them to panic. Kanzo Makishima hadn't reacted like that. Well, the old wolf guy said the wolves were coming. It was likely they'd experienced the feast before, but I didn't know what happened to the other people, or what I'd even do with that information. So this is curious. I'm not really following, but like exactly what's happening here, but can the mists happen without a feast? One thing I could say was that survivors either killed or silently approved of killing people. Yeah, it's the mists came 7 to 8 years ago, and just some people on a construction site died, and it wasn't a full-blown feast. Chemi could be one of them. So could the students. Even if I couldn't connect all of the dots, it was entirely possible. I had to keep myself together. Maybe the rules are different every time the mists come. It's some like sick death game every time, but it's different rules. I had many things to think about later, but for now, I had a goal to complete.
And yet the people at the main house...
Hey, Nosato-san. You said that the construction site is yours, right?
Right. What of it?
Is that prefab usable? Prefab? Unity model?
For what?
I just thought that it'd be a better place for troubled outsiders to stay at. After thinking for a moment, Kyonosuke returned inside. I expected him to say something like, "Why would I, a village head, sully my hands with Yasumizu's problems?" or something, so it came as a surprise. Kyonosuke, she actually came back shortly.
This should be it. The previous head of the family brought it here after the incident, and just as I expected, it was in the key box.
Thank you very much.
Wait, I didn't say I'd give it to you. In fact, why would I, a village head, sully my hands with Yasumizu's problems?
There it was. You have a point. I'm sorry.
I'm joking. I didn't say I wouldn't give it either.
Wow, what a pain in the ass.
Unlike Muru or Serizawa, you seem to know how to behave around heads. Yasumizu inhabitant or not, I value such people. We village heads are responsible for maintaining order in Fujiyoshi.
Thank you very much. Oh, so he believed in the concept of noblesse oblige. Shame he didn't have the ability for it. I haven't heard noblesse oblige. I think since... Is that in Nier? Is that the Yorha saying? Noblesse oblige? Something something earth? No, that's from... I haven't heard noblesse oblige since fucking Eden of the East. That anime. That's where it comes from. That anime was really good. First, I had to check if the place was even usable. Oh god, this fucking rundown shack. The equipment and materials were all gone. The only thing of note here was a sink in the wall. That flooring was cold and a bit sandy. But with a bit of cleaning and a futon, it could be a decent living space. There's no running water, but if we place a water bucket here, whoever was living here could easily wash themselves. So we need key 3 and key 20. We could do something here. But we have to return to the dining hall. All aboard the railroad. Now I had one empty living space. Getting the other, the dorm room, was even harder. I didn't even think I could force it at this stage. However, it was still a better option than just wandering around looking for alternatives that may not even exist. I hear it a lot in my shitty isekai novels, because it's always fantasy noble systems. Yeah, it makes sense. It's a real waste of time if I didn't end up saving them. I wasn't about to stop trying, though, and it was a bit afternoon. Honestly, I was a bit hungry, but there was a strange, powerful reek coming from the dining hall. I had no idea what could have caused this. Was it a toilet? Oh god, here comes the heartbeat. Don't do that. If Granny comes through one more time, I'm gonna pop off, dude. There's more rot, animal rot at that. Did someone already die? My memories made me forget, and the situation was still peacefully. And I dashed. Suddenly, a dense wall rose up before me. What? Oh, it's the old man. I was pushed away. Oh my god, he's got the mask on, though. I spaced out for a moment, but then I realized I'd bumped into the local hunter, Kanzo Makishimashi. You're the one, huh? This was the first time I'd seen him hold his gun in his hands. The one the weird god was wearing, also the one Grandma was wearing in her first jump scare. Yeah, we saw her in the first loop. Grandma was wearing this in her Grandma jump scare #1. But I was even more troubled by his face. Yup. was pretty sure I'd seen old lady Tai wear something similar to that the first time. All that happened later made me forget about it, but man, it was weird. You think that's what they call it in the files? Grandma jump scare. Wolf time. I'm always down for wolf time. Sorry, there was a weird smell, so I was wondering if everything's okay. It's shishinare. Delicious. Huh? That's the shishinare boiling. They're feeding it's so gross. Oh my god. You imagine just like hunking gross venison meat and they just throw it to like boil? Just getting like boiled game meat. Oh my god. This is so gross. Oh yeah, Hisako-san was here to eat something strange. Be careful, boyo. Alright, may I have your name? Makishima. And he left. The bundle he had in his left hand had told me he'd only been here to get his lunch. He was as tough as I remembered. That chest made it hard to believe how old he was. What a hunk. That thought made me seem like some love-struck teenage girl. Anyway, that cleared things up. The smell was caused by cooking. I gathered my resolve and went inside. Oh, where were you? I had things for you to do. Kari-san glared at me a bit. Crap, I'd have to make up for the points that I lost. Sorry. I had business with Nosato-san. Business with him? Did Higuchi tell you to give him a message? No, Mamiya-san, Hashimoto-san, can I have a moment? Besides the one in charge here, and that sleepyhead, you also had the journalists, who were busy taking photos and jotting down notes. I was impressed by their professionalism, being able to get back to work right after the problem was solved, although it actually wasn't. I mean, the person we see wearing the mask is probably a wolf? That's an interesting theory. Tai was a wolf on the first go-through. Sorry to bother you while you're working. Nosato-san said that it's not good to spend the night in the van and gave me the key to the prefab. Oh. What? The blockhead? I mean, Nosato-san said that? I also think we might have to assume the roles stayed the same, but my guess is, realistically speaking, they don't. Well, it was nice to find out how she usually called him. Apparently there's one more room too, so why don't you ask if they can open that so you can have a night under a roof? I appreciate the sentiment, but I don't want to force anyone to give me a room. Of course she didn't. That was a normal thing to do. Kari-san, we should really open the dorm. Losing to Nosato-san would bring shame to Yasumizu. The wolves changed every time, then I'm scared for Chiemi. It would be annoying if it would be kind of annoying if they stayed the same. Yeah, because then like what's probably gonna happen is they're probably gonna change. Fusaishi's gonna think they're the same and like just go to off like somebody, and the crow's gonna tell them that it's wrong. That's probably what's gonna happen. I won't say anything about that, but yes, even if there aren't any bad people here, I wouldn't feel good about letting a young lady sleep in a car. Kari-san, can we have lunch? And the most important person around joined the scene. What? Nosato-san gave me a key. It's for the prefab, but still, now one of them can rest with a roof over their heads. That's... I wasn't explicit about it, but she instantly understood what I was getting at. But that place is... I don't mind having a new neighbor. By the way, what kind of place is the dorm, anyway? That's the place for the children who will soon leave Yasumizu. At that point, you'd just be throwing darts at the wall hoping something worked. I guess. Or you can just... Like, he's gonna join the game this time, right? So he can, like, play it. Like... Yeah, because it could go both ways. They could stay the same, and then the challenge would be convincing the town that you know who they are. Or they could change, and it's about playing the game right. But the puzzle becomes convincing the rest of the town. You can't just say, you know, I'm a looper, I know who it is. That makes it the only special place here, and the people of Kamifujiyoshi silently agreed. Hey, Koi. Happy Sunday. like, knowing who the wolves are doesn't solve anything if the wolves are the good guys. Oh, well, that's also true, right? Like, we don't actually know if we should be buying into this whole Yomibito, like, purge thing that's going on. Yeah. That makes the only special place here, and the people of Kami Fujiyoshi silently agree. Oh, so this was just another way Kami Fujiyoshi exerted power. I could understand why they didn't want to mess with it, but I knew from experience that it wasn't an insurmountable obstacle. They'd open up for emergency, but tomorrow would be too late, and it didn't really have a good way to convince them that this was indeed an emergency. It's fine. I'm used to sleeping in my car. You can use the prefab, Hashimoto-san. The car is more than enough for just me. Not to mention, you're the one doing all the driving. Okay, so rest in peace, Mamiya. Shouldn't it be the other way around? We're talking about the prefab uphill, aren't we? I'm not sure I'd want to let a woman sleep there. As we pondered, excuse me. Hashimoto-san actually spoke up and walked up to Tai-san. Can I help you?
If you have a proper room, could you please open it up for her? She is a tough lady who can handle work in this field, but she is still unmarried. As her partner, I don't want her to do anything she shouldn't have to do. I will thank you in whatever way I can, so please.
He bowed. His large body bent in two, but Tai-san still had to look up at him. I understand, but... Whoa, Tai-san was on the verge of giving in. Hey, Fusaishi, so you came back, huh? Why were you out when Kaori-san was making food? You've got some nerve leaving her here when she needs your help. Ah, Takumi-chan. Perfect timing.
Huh? What?
Perfect timing indeed. He was the best person to convince Tai-san. And in the end, she agreed. The word unmarried meant a lot to her, apparently. She seemed to become more considerate of Mamiya-san after that. One of the reasons for this victory was the pressure emitted by Hashimoto-san's massive presence, and the other was the fact that he presented a reason that resonated with her. And then Takumi-san joined the scene and gave her the final push. This wasn't exclusive to Yasumizu, but finding a compromise in a community without common interests was really difficult. It was especially hard when you couldn't give proper reasons for your words. They started to suspect I was a slacker, but I said that I was called by Nosato-san, and though it surprised them, they believed me. As a result, I had to make up a story about how he was shy, but actually considerate of everyone. That was why he had called me. After all, I couldn't let them think I decided this all by myself. After we got the key from Tai-san, the two journalists and I left the dining hall to prepare our living spaces. The dorm room was clear to begin with. There was gas, water, and a futon, exactly like I remembered. Excuse me. The house I'd been staying at was clean too. All I had to do was get a futon from the dining hall and a pail with water. The prefab, though, that took a while to clean. Takumi-san brought the cleaner pieces of tatami from the abandoned shacks here and made a relatively livable space. Well, if we're staying here, we might as well experience the local daily life. Shame I won't even be able to make an article out of it. That seemed to be satisfied. They seemed to be satisfied with that reason.
I hope we can work in a safer place next time.
Sorry, most of my gigs are like this, aren't they?
Okay, but this is better for me. I have insurance, and it's far safer than a war zone.
He'd been in such places. He did more legwork than his looks would have you believe.
But you are a woman, Kyu-chan.
I keep telling you not to mention that. There are no genders where we're working. Fun fact, insurance doesn't cover acts of war. Translator's note.
Sadly, dangerous places are riskier for women than men.
Well, you know, I can't get any better jobs, or a man.
It's rough, huh?
Their relationship was just that of good business partners. Mamiya-san was a passionate journalist, while Hashimoto-san was a senior who was worried about her and helped her out. There was a decent balance here. That's unexpected. You're good looking, so I figured you'd be more popular. Flattery won't get you anywhere. Oh, believe me, if I was less pathetic, I'd have gone for you without hesitation. What an honor. How old are you, by the way? 24. And I'm about to enter my 30s. I'd feel really bad. Oh, come on. Unmarried 30-year-olds weren't rare in this day and age, though. I preferred women who were a bit more bothersome.
What is this tub?
Ah, it's to clean your body.
But we'll only be here for a day.
Dude, please. Please bathe. Like, Hashimoto, please bathe. Don't go a day without bathing. I was told it's a custom here. Can you tell us more? Alright, this was a good chance to share info with them. Presenting all the info I heard from Uematsu-san and Kiyonosuke, I told them about what had to be done when the mists came. I couldn't sound too knowledgeable though, since I was really a newbie here, but I was able to imply that there was a supernatural danger involved. Mamiya-san was extremely intrigued and quickly asked for extra info, like the stuff about the four-head families. I did my best to mention only what I had found out this time around, but I couldn't help worrying that I wouldn't say too much. Interesting. That's Shinto-like, though. I wonder how it passed on. Strange. Tori, families with guardians to their names, accustomed to cleanse only when the mists came. They don't seem too hospitable to guests, then. What a mystery. How did such unique customs arrive in such a remote farming village? Was it even more peculiar back in the day?
It really does look like this is your calling, Q-chan.
Apologies. Anyways, we have places to sleep in and know what to do if the mists come. Let's go back to work.
You're satisfied with the dorm, right? Then I will use this place.
If you want, you can use the cabin downhill. This prefab is pretty cramped.
Don't worry, I can sleep anywhere. And you're gonna live here, aren't you? You should get used to your new home as quickly as possible.
He did have a point. Also, I borrowed this place from Uematsu-san. I didn't have the right to just let anyone use it. Okay, so this is a branch where we switch places. I have to agree with Hashimoto. Alright, sorry about that.
Don't be. We should be thanking you. You did a lot for us, you know? That Nosato person didn't seem like the considerate type, so I can only guess that you got him to help.
Oh, you're giving me too much credit.
This girl tends to push herself too hard. Thank you for caring for her where I could not.
Hey, you're only a dozen years older than me. Don't act like my dad. There's something about him that bothered me. Anyway, with that done, I figured I'd spend my remaining time trying to rub elbows with the rest of Yasumizu. Though I already had a job here, I had to make up for not helping out at the dining hall before noon, but... Huh? You can't work on an empty stomach. Kari-san gave me a bowl. For some reason, her smile seemed a bit warped. It probably wasn't on purpose, though. It was just the effect of the smell. No, the miasma coming from the food she gave me. It was just too powerful. Are you upset about something? Huh? No. Why would you think that? I couldn't feel any anger in her voice or expression, but being new here, I couldn't understand the mentality of someone trying to present something like this as food. I twitched in fear that this was punishment for slacking off. Kaori-san suddenly gave me a full smile. Oh, it's the smell, isn't it? This is shishinare. It's like this because of the traditional technique to keep the game meat fresh. Ah, naruhodo. So this was the infamous dish made of fermented game meat. The nare part of the name had to refer to long fermentation, just like in nare zushi for fermented sushi. I had no clue how they gave it such a strong smell though. Did they reuse the same marinade for decades, like with the salt they used for sun-dried mackerel? They used to eat it raw before, but they eventually found out that's dangerous. Now we boil it or use it in stews and soups. It used to be a celebrated dish here. This is what's left from what I made for the journalists. Please consider this my way of welcoming you. I started playing the Elden Rings. Oh, very cool. That's supposed to be a really good game. Not my genre for per se, but definitely a game that I hear is very, very good. I hope you enjoy it. Okay, I had to steel myself. I actually had a soft spot for strange delicacies. I tried sun-dried mackerel and any other weird foods I could get my hands on. No way I could refuse this. I mean, I've been eating Yasumizu's food since I was a little girl. Alright, chat. If we have a choice, are we eating? Would eating this turn me into a zombie or something? No. I would prove that idea wrong. Itadakimasu. I picked up the bowl and the chopsticks. Brown rice, covered with a ton of crumbled bits of meat. The soup stock seemed light, as what they used in Kami Fujiyoshi, but I didn't know what to think of the meat's color. What was up with this greasy, shiny green surface? You're going blind? That's exciting. With all the information that's out there, it's good to be able to go in blind. The reek attacked my nose once again. Damn it, I couldn't back out now. Gathering my resolve, I quickly put some stock, rice, and meat into my mouth. Oh boy, we ate the meat. What? Was it good? I really couldn't tell. I had absolutely no idea what I was eating here. The texture, the sensation on the tongue, everything was new to me. The taste was so extremely acidic, salty, and rich in animal protein. But that weird smell smothered most of it, forcing me to continuously conceive that I thought I was eating something good. Like my body would reject it if I didn't. Holding the aversion at bay, I somehow swallowed it. The aftertaste was better than I expected. But as the reek faded, it made way for a strong, beastly smell. Yeah, in a way, this taste was an exciting form of entertainment by itself. You're already lost? It's a hard game, that's for sure. Oh my, you're such a good eater. I could get used to this. Yes, I understand what you mean. I didn't know what to think of it when I first came here, but now I sometimes even crave it. Is it people? Are we eating people? Are we eating the people from the construction site? I wasn't lying. It really did seem like does the old man hunt people? He's the only hunter in the town. Does he like go hunt people and they eat people here? Some Wendigo beat? This might be some Wendigo. Dude, everything, real talk, I'm gonna pause for a second. Real talk, every story leads to Wendigo. Like every story. Chemi said she hunted with him before. That's true. I wasn't lying, it really did seem like the taste I could get used to. It was hard to honestly call it good, but at least it did feel nutritious. They're putting so much emphasis on this food though. Something's up with this food. As reciting a prayer, I repeatedly tried to convince myself that as I emptied the bowl I was given. Oof. Thank you for the meal. You're welcome. So I'd finally eaten something from Yasumizu. Did that mean I was a true local now? Or a Yomibito? Whatever. As long as I could get back to square one, I would explore all the options I had available. Rhythmic cutting sounds were reaching my ears. As Kori-san began preparing food in the kitchen, I did the work assigned to me. I had to repair the numerous cracked and broken dishes. Apparently, they couldn't afford anything new, so they opted to take what was thrown out in Kami Fujiyoshi and repair it into something usable. That's so sad. Was there no end to how pitiful things were here? The broken plates and cups were all wrapped in old newspaper, and all I had to do was unwrap them and place them back together. It was actually kind of fun. Sort of like a jigsaw puzzle, but man, there were a lot of them. I'd have to do this for entire boxes full of broken tableware. I did wonder whether they actually needed so much, but apparently they just barely had enough, so they wanted to have some spares. I used some all-purpose glue from a 100 yen shop. They bought it from a nearby town. Kari-san laughed about it, saying, "We get far more value out of this than a 100 yen bowl," and I just about cried. Yeah, that's heartbreaking. It was a strange mix of modern frugality and poverty of ancient times, and it exemplified just how weird Yasumizu really was. As I worked, I realized that many of the plates and cups had a familiar symbol on them. What is this? I don't remember what this is. What kind of mark is this? I asked Kori-san over the counter. Oh, that's the crest of the watering hole family. The Higuchi. I was about to mention the name, but I realized that Kori-san probably didn't have good memories of them. I'd heard that examining these crests helped understand the lineages and the like, but no knowledge was necessary for this. Do the other head families have crests as well? Yes, I like the Nosato one. It's cute. Cute. From what I recall, the Nosato family was the crow. Did it have a bird on it or something? Uematsu was the spider, Nosato was the crow, Higuchi was the monkey, and Miguruma was the snake. They worshipped a mountain on these guardians. It was significant not only for Fujiyoshi's culture, but the Feast of the Yomi Purge as well. If memory served, Chami had told me last time that whether you had a guardian or not was relayed by a mark of blood on your skin. Waking up to find blood on your body was something straight out of a horror movie. Didn't the wolves and Haru-chan say it was done through dreams? If that was true, I'd be at a loss. It'd be an actual supernatural phenomenon. Still, were wolves and humans informed differently? This was something I'd had to look into starting tomorrow. Where can I see the other crests? You can probably find the Nosatos in the Nosato mansion, but the others, oh, the accessory on Uematsu's chest is based on her crest. That thing, huh? I thought it was kind of weird looking. I'll try looking for them. I wouldn't want to disrespect them out of ignorance. You might be right. I'll tell you if I find something. Please do. I continued working as we talked. There was a small, ancient TV here. Apparently you could get public broadcasting here, but not much else. That was probably enough for everyone to gather around here and have dinner while watching something. I was told that the dorm rooms had TVs too. That had to be another way they pampered the children who'd eventually leave this place. I strangely demonstrated how much of an exception the dorm was for Yasumizu. My eldest lives in the dorm and always tells me what happened in yesterday's shows. We can only turn this on at night, you see. Normally, giving TVs to the younger generation would be a sign of luxury, but it was kind of the other way around here. The children went to school in Kami Fujiyoshi, but they never went anywhere beyond that and just went straight home. And Kami Fujiyoshi was already secluded to begin with. That was why they'd prioritize giving TVs to their children, to let them know what was happening outside the village and help them learn modern Japanese culture. Apparently, they also covered their electricity and gas bills. They had to be frugal, but they didn't mind supporting the children's access to television. Chemi was the first Yasumizu child to make it to college, and Yasunaga-kun was expected to follow in her footsteps. Basically, they thought if they supported the young ones and helped them become prominent figures in society, the money they'd send back would make life easier for those who did stay here. I honestly hope Yasunaga is able to live freely, unhindered by his roots here. As you can see, my second son has some flaws, so I have to keep him close, but my eldest, if you don't mind me bragging, he is simply excellent. My late husband was clever too, but had an intense nature, and it seems that those two qualities were split between my sons. I do feel guilty that I couldn't give birth to two clever boys. Birthing the second was so different that both of us almost died. Did he come out like that because I tried too hard at the time? Kaori-san was pretty talkative about this. I knew I was a stranger and she had to introduce Yasumizu to me, but this was a bit much, if you asked me. It's probably a sign of how helpless she felt right now. Maybe Takumi-san should just propose to her and lighten the Oribe's burden. Marrying a widow with sons in middle to high school is difficult, and I can only assume that was his main issue. Oh, sorry. Sleepy. I had a long day today. Feeling a bit conflicted, I glanced at the cheap alarm clock on the TV. It was 3 p.m. Any minute now. We're back. Huh? Don't know this guy. There. The high schoolers were back. Welcome back. This is Fusaishi-san. He suddenly moved here to Yasumizu. Hey, let's get along. Now this is unexpected. I'm Yasunaga Oribe. Kaori-san's son, right? She's told me all about you. What did you tell him exactly? Get along with my good-for-nothing son. Oh man. This is Chikamochi Kamoshida, and that's Haru Makishima. Call me Mochi. Give me your life. Nope. Hey, Mochi. What's that? Is he one of those cool guys? He scares me. Yasun probably has a better face and personality than him. Can he win against him? Sure he can. I challenge you to a duel. Huh? Wait, I am your opponent here. Alright, let's go. Which one of us can go the longest without pissing? What? You cur. You know I am trying my hardest to hold it in. I am at my limit too, as it would be. The one who pisses his pants first is the winner. It's the winner? Alright, wait. No, it isn't. Just go already. Oh my god. We both had to forfeit. Wow, you two sure get along. The bond of piss men. Wait, was he was poop guy last cycle, right? He was poop kun? Now he's piss man? Yeah, wait, no! Again, this is Haru-chan. Nice to meet you. Yeah, you have a unique fashion sense. You got a problem with it? I got it all at a 100 yen shop in Kachihara at the end of last year. That was so sad. It was something I'd expect from an elementary schooler. No, it's good. Again, let's get along. Nii-chan, he's trying to flirt with me. I'm scared. Grandma, I swear to God, if you come through, I will scream. I really don't think he is. Man, Haru-chan was distrustful to me, even without the misunderstandings regarding Chemi and I. Perhaps there really were people you just couldn't get along with. How sad. You fixed so many bowls and cups. We were supposed to do that. Sorry to trouble you with it. No, it's fine. I had fun. And look, there's still plenty left. Yasunaga, leave him be and go review your lessons. Right. I'm going to the dorm then. Let's have our duel another time, piss man. Then I'll be going too. The high schoolers left. Have you met everyone here in Yasumizu by this point? Have we? We have not met the old man who cried wolf. I guess so. There's one exception though. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a bit of a rude response. 1, 2, 3, journalists included. I met 14. 1, 2, if we include you, there should be 15. Suddenly, as if rehearsed, the final person appeared. Perfect timing. This is the old man of Yasumizu. No one knew his name, did they? Hello. Like always, it was hard to tell whether he was listening or not. I'll be living here from now on. Pleasure to meet you. Coming. There it was, his shtick. What? He beckoned me closer. I carefully brought my ear to his mouth. But sway back. Kochira! The wolf is coming! Old man's got a sick backdash. Whoa, you surprised me. I evaded the potential damage to my eardrums. I had no idea what he was thinking, but he was grinning. Hungry. Please wait. I'll make you an onigiri. Might have actually been the first time I saw him properly communicate with someone. Once given the onigiri, he quickly munched it all up, leaving a big mess, and just staggered out. According to Kaori-san, he's always been a part of the whole Yasumizu package. Seems to have something wrong with his head and tended to cause trouble there. Always a part, huh? Would it be wrong to assume he'd experienced something that made him go insane? At the very least, his catchphrase about wolves coming gave me that impression. He'd experienced a feast once, and the fear made by the boy who cried wolf became the old man who cried wolf. If he experienced a feast and survived it, they either caught the wolves or he was the wolf in that feast, right? Perhaps he'd even seen that thing. I'd love to hear what he had to say, but that would be difficult. Is that everyone? Seems so. I was glad to have heard so much from Kaori-san, but I would have liked to talk to the young ones more. Cheme, too. Was it possible for me to forge a proper relationship with her starting tomorrow? Let's rest until 6 p.m. With you here, everything was taken care of so quickly. You're a great help. Oh, it was nothing. After helping with the dinner preparation, I was mostly done for the day, so I was free to take a breather. It was almost 5 p.m. I hadn't been keeping track of the time on the previous loop, but the mist had to appear soon. Needless to say, I was slightly tense. Not having anything better to do, I went outside. I looked up at the sky. The evening sun bathed everything in a red hue. This was probably the last time I'd see the mountain in the distance. No, this time, I would survive until the mist cleared. Idea? The old man is like Mako. Everyone died, and now he's just an old child? The old man is like Mako. Oh. Like mentally he's a child? Then I would look at this with one dear to me and leave this place for good. So I gathered my resolve. Here we go. The donut bologna rice snows on the mountain. Suddenly heard an off-key singing voice. It completely deflated the tension of the scene. I could see Mako running through the plaza. She'd clearly noticed me. Uematsu-san was right behind her. Fusayuki-san! That was not my name. I'm Haruaki. Ah, Fusaishi-san. I swear to God, Grandma, mod check. Grandma, if you come through one more time, I'm gonna cry. I'm still shining with energy. How reliable. I'm gonna look at the field downhill before dinner time comes. Oh, just look at the time, just like last time, huh? Oh, no, this is Haruaki. Oh, just like last time, huh? I'd been busy fixing my bike here, so I hadn't even noticed them go down. There's a field downhill? Hey. Though, it is more of a graveyard. Grave. Is there anything significant? That aside, your clothes are a bit Buddhist, aren't they? Are you giving a memorial service or something? Yes. The Uematsu-san were also responsible for funeral rites. The Uematsu were also responsible for funeral rites. Our faith might have some roots in Buddhism as a result of that duty. So Mamiya-san was right. Bedroom woman servants, was it? Perhaps they protected not only dreams, but also the eternal sleep. The peace in the area. He got there like Mako with knowledge of the wolf is a warning of it. Everyone died, so no one taught him anything. People just didn't care. Got there like Mako. Maybe. Mako does know about the wolf. She drew up all the drawings and stuff. Though, as our blood became less pure, we became unable to fulfill those duties. So we left them to the Miguruma. Despite that, after moving here to Yasumizu, you hold services for the local graves, huh? That is my intention, yes. But this time... What? I have become a bit worried. She looked toward the direction of the Saranaga. Perhaps she could feel the coming mist with her skin. I heard that sensitive people could feel incoming weather changes by differences in pressure and humidity alone. Mako came... Oh yeah, Mako did come from the river, huh? Will something happen? No. I think it's probably merely my imagination. Uematsu-san leaned on the pillar supporting the well's roof. Apparently she decided against going to the field. Realizing this, Mako started playing around. Kids sure are a bundle of energy, huh? Indeed. Everyone was afraid of her because she came through Saranaga, but she turned out to be an energetic child. Truly a relief. I wonder what happened to her. Perhaps she was doing her hardest to run away from a forced suicide in the mountains. That seemed likely. Takumi-san had mentioned last time that lots of suicidal people gathered there. But why did you... I was about to ask why she was the one to take care of her, but then I remembered something. She took in the corruption. That was one of the roles she was expected to fulfill. It felt wrong to me, but I don't know what I actually had a problem with. Mako's parents? The locals who treated her like filth? Or perhaps the customs and superstitions that caused it? 9. One whole birthday cow to find. 10. Kissed my sway again. So this is something that... This is, she's obviously mispronouncing. One whole birthday cow. I forget what all these higher numbers were in the poem. That's a unique song. I heard it in a broadcast at Kami Fujiyoshi. I'd actually heard it here in the last loop, but, whatever. It's an old song about the teachings of Great Lord Shinai-sama, the incarnation of the mountain that keeps us alive. Shinai's guard... Oh, here we go. Guardians are snake, monkey, crow, spider. Begin singing out of nowhere. 5. Prepare for the feast when the evening mists arrive. 6. The badger runs along late with Nare as a fix. The badger. Her clear voice vanished in the wind passing this empty plaza. However, I could hear it very well. 7. The corrupt Yombiru rise to oppose the mountain. The tone of the song suddenly changed. 8. Death of the damned Yomibito is mandate. Yup. Her singing now brought out feeling of unease. 9. 1 soul per day, now to bind. What's that have to do with a birthday, Cal? Oh god. Oh god! 10. The mists rise away again. An ice-cold voice cut her off. I looked at the source. A chill went down my spine. It was Chemi, covered in the red of the evening, as well as the red of blood. Her whole body was covered in blood. You were working hard, I see. Oh, I was. Huh? Serizawa-san. What happened? Oh, sorry. I guess making a dramatic entrance while looking like this is a bit scary, huh? Hey, Whooper. What's up? She gave me a broad grin. I believe she had to dismantle Wild Game. Cheme, I swear to God, every time you... every time it's a fake out. Yep. Kanzo-ji-chan got a big one this morning. The muscles and bones in this thing were huge. Can't talk much, just checking in. Glad you stopped by. I'll be playing a lot of Uni next week, so hope to see you then. Thank you. Oh yeah, Takumi-san told her to help Kanzo-san. Wow, you know how to butcher Wild Game? It's easy when you get used to it. Your clothes are a mess now, though. You sure that's not a problem? I didn't mean for this to happen. My hand slipped a bit. Am I going to Combo Breaker? Yes, I will be at Combo Breaker from Thursday to Monday. Well, I have another set of these clothes, so it ain't a problem. She laughed and made her look even scarier. You can just call me Chemi, by the way. Drop the fancy talk, haha. Oh, uh-oh, jealousy. Wait, was that Rikako-san? No, it clearly was. I'm gonna be there? Let's go. We gotta get some games in. Alright, Chemi-chan. You can call me just Haruaki, too. Talk to me like I'm a friend. Right after prom? That's an eventful week, wow. Prom and then combo break. Call that Prombo Breaker. Oh, really? Alright, Haruaki-san. Want to get to know each other over some food? Oh. Yeah, get bodied, Rikako. Hold that shit. By the way, are we getting some of the game meat for dinner? Of course, we're in for some good eating. Probably no games? Okay, well, we'll definitely hang out. Get some good food. Let's get some good pizza. I'm sorry to hear that. I know you struggle with that a lot. But let's get some pizza when I go up there. Please call me Rikako. Oh, the competition. Rikako-san. What kind of response was that? What is it? Haruaki-sama. She was about to call me by some weird name, but somehow managed to actually get my real one right. I'm only at the venue for 2 days. Yeah, we'll get pizza. We'll get Portillo's. We'll crush some Portillo's. Oh my god, the milkshake at Portillo's is bomb. Problem being that she called out to me, but didn't actually have anything to say. Oh boy. Oh, and what's your problem, Cheme? Haruaki-san, want to come watch me butcher game? Oh my god. Say less. It's the most romantic thing I've ever heard. You'll see me cut some meat with a huge hunting knife. Splish, splish. Whoa, that kind of invitation would have worried anyone normal, but me? I was actually intrigued. Oh, stream froze? Still looks good on my end. Head out? Alright, bye Whooper. Haruaki-sama. Hi. Shall we go there? Where? The graveyard. Oh, we get to choose? An invitation even freakier than the previous one. I feel like she's taking me straight to the land of the dead. That was interesting in its own way. Huh? And what exactly are you going to do there, Rikako? This is just not even a choice. This is a freebie. What of you, Serizawa-sama? Are you aware how absurd it is to show him a feast of blood? Even if it is for Yasumizu, blood is linked to corruption. Rikako-san, do you know what lewdness is also dirty, right? What are you imagining? I was not thinking anything of the sort. Really? You seem like a closet pervert to me. Don't worry, men love lewd women. Too bad though, I have even more lewd power. What is this loop? I have even more lewd power than you. What? No fair. What the hell are you two talking about? Fusayuki-san, are you popular? What? What is happening, bro? Mako, whatever do you... you're out of the race? Guess I'll have him then. You will? Well, that's too good to be true. You're my type. If you're gonna live here, then I guess I'll have something to look forward to every time I come back home. So I had a chance with Chame in this route too? Pog. Oh, then I shall have my chances while you are away. Dude, Grandma is about to come through. Grandma is like running like as fast as she can through the freaking forest to scream at me. And with Rikako-san too. Mako-chan, let's have a race. Okay. I ran around with her like I was a kid her own age again. As much as I enjoyed them having a cat fight over me, I knew that we were almost out of time. The dense mist began flowing into the plaza. All right, lads, here we go. No way. My tone was a bit forced, but no one paid any heed. The mists are here. Chimmy's loud voice flung everyone into a frenzied panic. Bachan's in the house. What about the old man? I ain't that old. No, not the mists. Chie, take the brats to the dorm. Yeah. Haruaki-san. I'll lead him. Alright, please do. Haruaki-san, this is Yasumizu's mist. Please do whatever she tells you, even if it sounds stupid. Alright. Oh, so this is the mist. I guess we should count ourselves lucky we got to see it. It probably is bad for our equipment. This is serious. I'm so glad you have rooms. Please, run to them immediately. Mamiya-san, you're with us. Cameraman, you? I'll take him. He's in the prefab, right? Come with me and don't fall. No need to rush. I couldn't help but worry. Coming. The wolf is coming. At the edge of my fading vision, I saw the old man mutter that and walk off. Mako, Haruaki-sama. Looks like it was not just my imagination. We have to lock up our houses now, right? Cleanse, shelter, dream. This is how you prepare for the feast. Please don't forget to do them. Wash my body, lock the door, and sleep. Yes, you will not get to eat until tomorrow, so please be patient. Okay. If I obey the laws, no one will die today. What do you mean? Today, we prepare for the feast. Those who do not are punished by our great Lord Shinai. Please, go. Rikako-san took Mako into her hands and took a step back. That alone made her face less clear. Please, prepare. I'm gonna pass out, but have a good rest of the stream. Will do. See you, Purist. I'm only gonna go for about 30 more minutes, so you won't miss too much. I wish to see you again tomorrow. I will. I shouted that right before her face vanished. She clearly liked me, so much that she was almost crying. She probably assumed I wouldn't believe her and would be a pile of gore in the morning. No chance. I know how serious this is, and I understood the depths of their fear and despair. On top of it all, I wanted to help them. I wanted to reassure them by making that all too clear. I made my way carefully downhill to my hut. Unlock, enter, lock. Oh man, I felt so much safer than last time. After all, I could actually lock up. I had a decently sized space that was protected from the mist, and I had a nice place to lie down. I made it this far. That alone was a strong sign that I was doing way better than before. Turned on the light. It actually had electricity here. Well, I'd had it in the dorm last time too. All that was really cut was the telephone wires. Weird to think that the mist and severed phone wires were enough to create a closed circle like this one. Even weirder that I actually came back here of my own volition. I reached into the bag in the corner of the room and opened my yellow box of food. It was probably unfair to everyone else, but I needed the energy. I'd have a hell of a time tomorrow. After my half-assed excuse for dinner, I took a wet towel from the pail and washed my body. Then, checked if the door was really locked. All that was left was to spread out in the futon and sleep. Could I, though? After all, I had so much things on my mind. First, the things I'd learned today. Ooh, jammer. I found out that I could change how things went down. This time, I somehow succeeded in becoming an inhabitant here. And saved the journalists. I had no idea if this would make things better than last time, but it was clear that things were different. That alone was big. Had to be. Also, I had a feeling that there was at least one Yasumizu inhabitant who'd experienced the feast before. This wasn't that new, but now I feel like the elders weren't the only suspects. Takumi-san could have experienced one too. Tomorrow, I could probably ask if there was a mist before. And I could probably make it sound natural. The settlement's history was just as deserving of an investigation as its customs and superstitions. And Rikako Uematsu. She might have actually been way weirder than I'd first thought. She fell often and went nuts when you just called her by name. Despite her weirdness, though, there was a certain charm to her. She was kind of like a fancy-looking restaurant that you were afraid to go into. But once you mustered the courage, it turned out to be unexpectedly cheap and sold simple, yet nice flavors, making you really attached to it. But, objectively speaking, it felt like she was actually attracted to me, but why? Did our first meeting leave that much of an impression? Not that I minded the attention, but it seemed to be a bit too good to be true. Whatever the case, I'd formed the bond that I certainly didn't expect last time. Assuming I solved this whole mystery, what would I do next? Following through on my lie and actively living here would upset too many parties, so that was a no. And if I left here someday, what would become of my relationships? Mikako-san didn't look like she'd ever leave this place, but what about Chiemi? Why was I counting my chickens before they hatched anyways? I did appreciate that Chiemi actually liked me this time too. It wasn't much help to her last loop, so I was kind of fixated on saving her on this one. But there was another way to look at this. That was a feeling born of a trip through hell with her last time, standing by her until the end. But that Chiemi from back then wasn't the same as the Chiemi from this loop. Any feelings I had for previous Chiemi had nothing to do with this one. There was nothing more hollow than chasing after unrequited feelings, right? Yeah, tell me about it. I had had enough of thinking about that. It just made me feel empty inside. Time to review the more important things. Like the previous roles. Takumi Muro was the snake. Mochi and Meiko were the monkeys. Oribe and Tai were the wolves? Those were the only clear ones. Now, for the rest. Since the spider was supposed to protect the snake, who died on the second day, it's safe to assume it was someone who died on the first day. That was either Kanzo or Oribe, and I'm pretty sure it was Kanzo. I had no guess for the crow, though. That guardian didn't really get a turn in the spotlight last time. There was only one standard lynching, after all. In fact, there were far more abnormal deaths. Though, I had no idea if those were not covered by the crow's power to tell if the lynch victim was a wolf or not. If they were, then perhaps the crow was waiting for a chance to come out, but all who died were humans, and eventually they were just out of the game. Or maybe it was someone who couldn't make good use of the power at all. Assuming Kanzo-san was the spider, I had 7 suspects for the crow. Oribe, that Yoshi Oribe, Haru, Chiemi, Rikako, Kyonosuke, Kaori, and the old wolf guy. First, Yoshitsugu. Honestly, I felt like he'd revealed himself as an owner of a guardian way before Takumi-san would. He was reckless and impulsive, after all. Kyonosuke seemed like the type to proudly reveal that he had the crow. It was his family's guardian beast, after all. Or maybe he was using it to gather information on his own, so he could pull out a bunch of his own deductions all at once. No, he wasn't that stupid, surely. Also, he was given free rein until the wolves got to him on the final day. He'd had ample time to do something. Then, Haru, she'd betrayed the humans and sided with the wolves, despite the fact that it wouldn't save her life. Needless to say, that seemed insane. The Great Lord Shinai came to her in a dream and told her the truth. What the hell? Who would die for that? Was there some other way to create such madness? A method to create a murderer? Was there anything besides that what Yasunaga-kun had mentioned? I had no idea, but if there was, I really didn't think anyone with a guardian would fall victim to it. Chemi was the crow. I would hope she'd have confided in me about it. Kaori, I had no idea. She'd been the only one killed the conventional way last time, but was never really given the chance to speak up. Even if she was, it's possible she'd chosen to keep silent and focus on killing everyone for her son. Or she tried to become a shield for him. The old wolf guy made no sense at all. If he'd gotten a guardian, it likely would have just gone to waste. Finally, Rikako-san. I had no idea what to expect from her. She was the only descendant of the Uematsu family and their current head, so perhaps she knows some secrets that only the head families know. However, from what I had observed from her today, it really did seem like she just had bad feelings and came to check. I didn't know how intelligent she was either. She did seem to have a good intuition, but she was also kind of a klutz. There was also the fact that she'd been eliminated from the previous game due to some kind of strange corruption. Maybe she didn't have a chance to reveal that she'd possessed the guardian. That meant that the most likely candidates for the crow were Rikako, Kaori, and the old wolf guy. What was most important here, though, was if those were guardians would be the exact same as last time. If they were, I'd have this feast in the bag. If it, to use an extreme example, I went and silently took out Yasunaga-kun and Tai-san, I'd probably fall victim to the corruption, but the human side would win. Of course, the participants were different this time, so it wasn't guaranteed that we'd get the same guardians. But if Great Lord Shinai or whatever picked them had some sort of qualifications for his chosen, the addition of outsiders should change nothing. On the other hand, if our participation could change the guardian assignments, was it random? Or was there some kind of pattern? Whichever it was, it would mean that there was no higher will intent on giving guardians to specific people. Whatever the case, it would help getting closer to the truth behind the feast. If I found out the rules behind the guardian distribution, I could probably win without trying to read people's minds. The only problem was my whole looper thing. Nobody would believe me if I told them. I couldn't blame them. If I went and said, this is how it went last time, so you're the wolf this time, everyone would think I was nuts. I had to look at this as nothing but a source of extra info to use to my advantage. Interesting. And of course, I couldn't sleep. What would happen to me if I spent the whole night awake? Was someone watching me? Did they know I wasn't sleeping? Would they come to kill me? That line of thinking made me feel like I was being watched. What about the locals? They already had the mist and the feast to fear. Could they sleep soundly? I knew this old story said they should be able to, but... Nii-chan, make me happy too. There was something wrong with the people of Yasumizu. They were normal in regular circumstances, no total idiots anywhere, and not all of them seemed like the sort to lose themselves in superstition. However, certain situations seemed to act as a trigger, turning them completely irrational. The absolute extreme fear of the mist. The complete submission to the real story. The lack of aversion towards hanging people. Was it all part of the feast? If so, what kind of psychological systems were at work here? I couldn't understand. Things I couldn't understand scared me. Is there a limit to the extent I couldn't comprehend? What if it was just a huge, never-ending downward spiral of irrationality? If that was the case, it'd be pretty damn scary. What? Uh-oh. Oh, it's tomorrow. Oh, boy. My eyes were closed, but it was bright. This could only mean the morning had come. No, well, yes, but something more important. I'd actually closed my eyes and fallen asleep. I got to my feet. Sure enough, it was morning. I'd actually ended up sleeping. Well, that meant since I'd completed my preparations, I was actually invited to the feast. That was proof that as long as you had a place to stay, you could participate in the feast, even if you had only been here for a day. It was 6 o'clock right now. I'd gone to bed way too early, but that provided me a good night's sleep. I couldn't sense any beasts outside. Without any hesitation, I opened the door. Sure enough, there was the mist. Last time, the first one who'd come to me was Chemi, but that was later than it is now. Was I supposed to wait before making a move? No. This was a chance to learn something I hadn't last time. I couldn't let this opportunity slip me by. Yasumizu was eerily silent. I couldn't see anything. My whole body was covered in cold mist, and I was all alone. It reminded me of my time wandering the endless riverbed before death. Crap. People despaired when they were cold, hungry, alone, and could barely see. This was unavoidable, and not something I could win against. I had to find someone right away. Who's there? Suddenly, I heard an angry shout from nearby. It made me turn rigid, and then... You. Early, huh? Kanzo Makishimashi came out of the mist, gun in hand. Good morning. Woke up just now? Yes. Nothing special happened. Saw your stomach? Huh? The Guardian show on the stomach. Oh yeah. Jimmy had told me that last time. Also mentioned something about Mako not being able to read it. Go on and look. If you say so. Acting like I didn't know what he was talking about, I returned to the hut. Man, that was close. I hadn't even considered the possibility that I could be a Guardian. Well, it was unlikely, but I should check just to be sure. I lifted up my t-shirt and exposed my stomach. Ugh. Oh, baby, we are a Guardian. What I saw almost made me shriek. I hadn't even noticed it. I didn't realize there was something like this on my body. I was drawn in red fluid, most likely blood. And it was nothing that I'd ever seen before. Also, there was some eerie text there. I need a mirror. No, I'll take a photo. Is this Wolf? I don't think this is Wolf. After a bit of trial and error, I finally read what it said. Because the wolves, it comes to you in a dream if you're a wolf. The tower lookout, the snake, find the lurking Yomi, cleanse and purify or die. We're the snake. We're the snake. Pog. So this mark was the snake's. It clearly said the tower lookout. The description seemed faithful to the original source and had a certain aura about it. Find the lurking Yomi. The snake's role was to search for the Yomi Bito. Cleanse and purify or die. Man, not being roundabout, are we? Anyway, that meant the corruption would take me if I didn't wash it off, huh? Corruption would take... Oh yeah, you gotta get that off. Okay. Yeah, so Muro can't be the snake anymore. Or he never was, but I'm pretty sure he was. I quickly grabbed a wet towel and washed off my freaky warning. I even smelled like blood. I didn't know who it belonged to, though, so if it were animal blood, it might be in danger of catching something. Alright, y'all. Guardians do change between loops, but they're gonna bait us. They're gonna tell us who do you want to check out on the first night. And if you pick Oribe or Tai, you're gonna get baited. Man, what were they thinking? So we're not picking Oribe or Tai night one. I don't care. It belonged to Takumi-san last time. He quickly revealed it, and I assumed the wolves used that to their advantage. After all, the snake was the human's only way of actively confirming who was a wolf or not. They made it even harder for me to die. And just like I thought yesterday, the roles changed a lot. There was now no guarantee that Yasunaga-kun and Tai-san were wolves. They could easily be humans. The same went for everyone else. It was best to assume that I'd been sent back to square one on that front. Wait, how was I supposed to use the snake's power anyways? The bloodletters only said that I was a snake and how to wash it off right away. Did someone know? But if I went to ask, I'd basically be telling them I was the snake. Would there be an explanation during the first feast? I had no choice but to believe. For now, I would just return to the plaza. Good morning. I walked through the mist as I called out. Over here, boy. This time I had no problems meeting up with Kanzo-san. Did you check it? Yes. And? My mind stopped for a second. Well, what? Nothing. Don't mind it. He looked away. Was that a leading question just now? Oh, the game's already on. There was something on my stomach. It meant I had a guardian. I was meant to be a newcomer who didn't know anything. Wasn't it unfair to ask me that? If I'd actually said or even implied that there'd be something on my stomach, that would mean that I had a guardian. Or if I said there was nothing, that could be used against me further down the line, putting me at a disadvantage. If he was a wolf who knew implications of his question, and again, I felt like he retracted his question because he knew it could lead to that kind of misunderstanding. Shit. I'd love to ask about that, but I couldn't use knowledge I wasn't supposed to have. Makishima-san, right? Have you looked around yet? That seemed like a yes. Is everyone alright? One's dead. Huh? Wait, you completely lost me just now. What's going on? Stop making noise, or I'll kill you. Kill? Did he really just use the word so casually? Stay where you are. I don't trust you. He brandished his rifle again. I don't know anything. I didn't do anything. We'll decide that at the feast. Sure was assertive. Maybe he didn't have a guardian this time. This made me realize I could tell a friend from foe by searching for differences in their behavior from last time. For now, though, I just had to make it through an awkward moment with Kanzo-san. Wow. Soon enough, we were joined by the others. Tai-san, Takumi-san, Kaori-san, Yoshitsugu-kun, the old wolf guy, Takumi-san, Kanzo-san. Then went to the Nosato mansion and the dorm, leaving me with just a woman, a child, and 2 elders. Hey, old fart. Wasn't one of those old farts, damn it. Me? Who else? Now that's just uncalled for. What is it anyways? You know anything? Like what? You got Sensei Yasumizu and this happened. It's fucking weird, ain't it? You talked to Higuchi, right? That asshole tell you anything? Nothing comes to mind. I played it off. Looks like a streak of bad luck I've been having since Tokyo is still going on. I can sense the situation isn't normal. This mist is just crazy. Like you're one to talk. You're batshit. He said that, but his tone wasn't as antagonistic as before. It actually felt somewhat friendly. I can only guess that my act from yesterday warmed him up to me. A bit, anyway. Yasutsugu, again? I ain't picking a fight this time. Stop pushing yourself. You're all pale. I'm sorry about this, Fusaishi-san. And Yoshitsugu, you behave. I don't mind. By the way, Rikako-san and Meiko-chan are still there. Still aren't here? It seems so. They usually wake up early. I don't give a shit about the village heads. Stop it, Yoshi-kun. I'll go on call them. The relationships here were really complicated. Soon enough, Tai brought Rikako-san and Meiko. Good morning. As she entered the palace, she looked at her mist-covered faces. Upon seeing mine, she gasped and gave me a very slight bow. Ani-chan, I rolled on my futon and hit my leg. It hurts. Meiko seemed in poor spirits. A bit later, I will make it better with some magic words. Magic? I wouldn't have been all that surprised if she was actually capable of magic. This is my first time seeing Yasumizu's mist. It's awfully thick. It is my first time as well. I believe we will have to perform the feast. True. I don't want no fucking family head telling me to do the goddamn feast. Come on, Yoshitsugu. I am sorry for being so powerless. Ani-chan, you're scary. I ain't okay with you being here either. You're still a village head, and there's no way to tell what you're thinking. What's your beef with her? Do you hate the village heads that much? Damn right I do. Without them, Mom would've... I'll expose y'all eventually. Yoshitsugu sure was aggressive this time. Did he have a guardian? This line of thinking felt dangerous. Making too many assumptions seemed more risky than not knowing anything. One-chan. Rikako-san was inexpressive as always, but I could tell she was feeling depressed. Man, things sure are difficult here, huh? Haruaki-sama? She looked around in confusion before. I am relieved you are well. Truly. She then gave me a smile. Hey, it's not like mist can do anything to me, right? Saranaga. That's the name of the river below. Its mists are said to be the breath of the Yomi. They are considered to be the worst of ill omens here in Fujiyoshi. Nosato-san told me that people always die when there are mists. She made a stern face, unlike any I'd seen on her. What a horrible thing to say to a newcomer, such as yourself. Oh, but he said that only because the mist is so dense it causes many accidents. Even so, it's imprudent. People still live here. Saying that someone is certain to die is too ominous. I've only been here for a day, but from what I can tell, you're pretty different from the other family heads, aren't you? Why do you think that? Well, the way you talk about Yasumizu, for one, it's nothing like Nosato-san and Kami Fujiyoshi's people did. I merely think that it should be shown the respect it deserves. Fujiyoshi as a whole depends heavily on Yasumizu, so... What do you mean? Can you elaborate? I shall tell you eventually. Now is not... Yeah, I understand. It's a bad time. I want to protect Yasumizu. Thus, Rikako-san fell silent. Feeling a bit awkward, I resumed waiting. Soon enough, Takumi-san brought Kyonosuke to us. He immediately started worrying over Rikako-san, as expected, but seemed very unreceptive to him. I might have gotten in the way of his love story, and it made me feel kind of bad. Eventually, Kanzo-san returned along with the students. Mamiya-san, watch where you step. Whoa! Seeing Hisaka Mamiya-san with them filled me with relief. Thus, I finally understood what would happen now. Good morning, everyone. Ignoring everyone's gloomy faces, she forced a smile and greeted us like it was a normal morning. The inhabitants didn't respond. I also had a guess about what had happened, so I had trouble picking my words too. What's wrong with y'all? Sure, there's a dense mist, but what about it? I guess big guy died. Is Hashimoto-san still asleep? Again, no one responded. He's up the hill, right? I'll go check. There's no point. Kanzo opened his mouth, taking it upon himself to say it. I could already hear some stifled sobbing. It was Haru-chan. Not only was she afraid, she'd also realized that a tragedy had occurred. Mamiya-san realized that something was wrong and was about to ask about it when the big guy's dead. Crude old man just told her what was up. Dead? What are you? He's lying dead near the landslide. What kind of nonsense is this? She instantly lost her composure. The unnatural aura around her was suddenly starting to get to her. Don't mess with me like that. We must fix our van and leave as soon as possible. I'll go wake him up myself. Stay where you are. What right do you have to... Makishima-san. I raised my voice because Kanzo reached for his gun again. This has to be a joke. What is this? Am I being punked? Did you burst the tires for this? Yeah, that makes sense. We still don't know your rules. There's no guarantee that we'll do what you want just because you have a gun. What's your deal?
You should stop that, old man. What's gotten into you? You always tell us never to point guns at people.
Kanzo silently lowered the gun. If it's not a joke, then it's a crime. You're going too far. Stop right now. I'm leaving this instant.
Mamiya-san, was it? I'm sorry, but that won't fly. You can't leave until the mist clears. And sorry to say this, but your partner is gone. Someone killed him.
Killed? What are you saying? Takumi, take her.
Can you handle blood?
You're joking, right? I'll go with you. He helped me a lot after all.
Alright, you'll have to help me though.
To clean up. Alright. I shall go as well. Mako, you stay here. I'll go too. Me too. This shit doesn't scare me.
How absurd. You must have tripped on something because of the mist. This place happens to belong to me, so I guess I must see it too. How troublesome.
We got so many volunteers that, besides the old people in Mako, the only ones ended up staying were Kaori-san and Haru-chan. Both of them didn't look so good. Takumi-san led us uphill. Since we went through the field, some of us fell or got stuck, so we took a whole 10 minutes. Still, we arrived at the scene of the crime. What I saw there was almost exactly the same as what I saw last time. It was a brutalized corpse. It was close to the prefab, next to the waist-tall boulder, did little to hide the large body. It was thoroughly destroyed. The entire frame had been torn apart and bent as if Steg systematically detached his muscles, insides, and bones from his body. The only things that hinted at who this once was were scattered pieces of clothing and an impressive amount of flesh. Once again, Yudai Hashimoto's failed to survive the first night. As Takumi-san muttered to himself, "What is that?" Mamiya-san finally broke her disbelieving silence with a hysterical scream. What? What happened? What happened to Hashimoto-san? How did he end up like... Mamiya-san, please calm down. How can I? Why did this happen? This is just... Mamiya-san stopped mid-sentence and began puking. She'd either screamed herself into vomiting or caught a direct glimpse of the corpse.
You're the only one who wants to scream. You're not the only one who wants to scream. Crap. I don't want to die because of some old story.
You knew about this?
Huh?
You knew that this would happen? I asked him that while feigning anger and despair.
Can't say I did. But we heard that this happens. Mists come, people die.
I'm guessing that's why you have the option to swap with him. He'll always leave for one reason or another. Yeah, seems like it. You have to either like convince him to stay, or maybe he's just always gonna die. That's what I thought. I believe the village heads told us too, and look at that. They were lying. Who lied about what? Are you saying that these so-called Okami have come back from the dead? Don't act like you don't know shit. Monsters and gods don't just pop out of nowhere. It's the village heads. They must have sent some beasts here. Stop it, you two. Rikako-san's faint yet stern voice cut their argument short. She then faced Hashimoto-san's body and lowered herself before it. Is our duty to give proper treatment to the guest who failed to prepare for the feast. We should, at the very least, let him go to Yomi in peace. I shall take his corruption. Rikako-san then... What are you? Rikako-san was inching her face closer to the pile of flesh and bone when... Get away! Mamiya-san suddenly cut in, stopping her. Hey, what are you doing? Stop. Don't hold me back. Her voice and face were borderline demonic. None of us could bring ourselves to stop her. She leapt over the corpse and, ignoring the blood, began sifting through the remains with her hands. It has to be here. Suddenly realized what she was doing. I'll help. She didn't respond, nor stop me. She'd completely lost her cool, but the madness was under control. It was clear that this was not some unreasonable panic. After all, he must have had it. I began helping her roughly search the body. Haruaki-san, what are you doing? The camera. He might have taken some photos. Oh. This kill was the same as last loop. The body was torn apart with no rhyme or reason. I felt something stiff in my hand. It was hair. It was close to the head. Don't overthink it. His camera must have been on his neck. I could follow this hint and I felt a cord in my hand. Found it. Where? It was thoroughly broken, expensive-looking digital camera. It must have cost a fortune, but Mamiya-san didn't care and just opened it. Monsters. No way. She muttered that in delirium, took out the memory card, threw the camera away, and ran off. Hey, where are you going? Takumi-ni-chan, take care of the rest. The two disappeared into the mist. Do you know anything, Yasun? Not much, but look, the prefab doesn't have a toilet. Oh, so he had to leave to take care of his business. He didn't know how important the preparations were, so this result was obvious. I should have been the one to stay in the prefab. He died because of me, but I couldn't let myself wallow in regret. Rikako-san approached the body again, but Takumi-san put his hand on her shoulder. You don't need to do that. But I don't want to rely on some mysterious village head shit. Don't make me. Things will just get worse. You Uematsus always get the short end of the stick, don't you? Just put your hands together or something. Takumi-san's tone was neither calm nor sympathetic, and I had no idea what he meant by short end of the stick. But for some reason, I felt like he was protecting her from something. Very well. Rikako-san did as she was told and put her hands together before chanting some sort of prayer. Yoshitsugu-kun watched her with a scowl. Rikako-san. Kyonosuke-shi missed his chance to talk to her. She was just frozen in place. Yasu, Yoshi, Chika, take everyone and go back. Then wash your hands and prepare to eat. Alright. Don't order me around. Let's go, Ri-chan. Nosato-san, it's time to leave. I don't need you to leave me. Let's go, Rikako-san. They all left. Sorry about this, Fusaishi. Oh, you can count on me for this much. Alright, Takumi-san and I began cleaning up Hashimoto's body. We couldn't remove the door, so we carried him on a board from destroyed construction site. So we dropped him into the Saranaga. I listened carefully, and I actually heard a splash this time. There was a bottom, after all. Then why had he gotten lost on that one loop? Thinking on that possibility, I parted ways with Takumi-san and returned to my hut and washed the blood off. I went to the plaza again. The people had gathered around the dining hall. They were handing out food, apparently. You washed your hands? Yes, and the rest of my body. I see. Well done. Tai-san was softer on me than before. The youngins need to eat. You won't last long if you don't. True. How about you? I don't have an appetite right now. You should eat anyways, if you can manage it. Giving a vague response, Tai-san looked up at the boulder next to us. I followed her gaze and... Wait, this is... Oh, shit. There are 3 wolves. Yeah, each of them represents a wolf returning from Yomi. So there's 2 marks and there's 2 wolves. This was what Shiami had told me last time. And now, there are 3 wolves. Dun dun dun! This is where we're gonna stop today. There are 3 wolves. So, we're going to end it here. I think this is a perfect place to end it. It is getting late after all. Let me go to main menu. All right, folks. Let me do my little outro. Yeah, we got a Monk Steer moment here, huh? All right. So, thank you. There's 3 things on the necklace. Ooh, big hints. Okay, folks. Wow, that was super fun. Oh my god. So the story is getting pretty interesting, huh? We got a lot going on. So 3 wolves. Haruaki is the snake. I don't know what else we really got to expect. So, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the constant support, the new followers. We got new assets. Huge shout out to Bluu again. His info is in my description and will be on the YouTube description from here on as well. I love the new assets. It'll be interesting to see what changes if you keep everyone alive through the first night, right? Like maybe it's now 4 wolves. Maybe it's still 3 wolves. Who knows? Be sure to follow me on my socials. This is twitch.tv/RyerFGC. We've got my Twitter, Ryer on Stream, and my YouTube, also Ryer on Stream. I upload 24 hours after streaming on Twitch, straight up VODs. I'm also working on some other things. I'm working on a how to use training mode video, which I'm super excited about. Upcoming schedule. Okay, so here's what we can expect in the coming week. And I'm going to change something because I cannot stand to wait much longer. So we are going to just update that. Raging Loop Part 6 on Wednesday. Come back. So, Combo Breaker is next week. So I will be out of town and at Combo Breaker from Thursday all the way to the following Monday. But we will have a Monday return stream with Combo Breaker stories and stuff. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stories. So tomorrow, I'm trying to enter Mash Fest for Uniclear and then train and play some Uniclear matches afterwards. Tuesday, same story. Going to be Uniclear training. Wednesday, Raging Loop Part 6. Can't believe we're getting this far. And then Thursday through Monday, I'm offline. And so I'll post this on Twitter as well. So be on the lookout for my schedule and other such things. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out. It was a blast tonight. I have about an hour of like clipping and time stamping and posting to do, and then I have to get up for a dentist appointment at like 6 a.m. So I'm gonna be tired tomorrow, but we'll see you then for the next stream. Y'all have a good night, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye. Oh wait, I have this. Haha.